Oh yeah, and I was like, I didn't know you guys got these early. And she said, yeah, well, we only ordered two, and that's the last one. I said, you got no more left.
And there's also a Ravnica map pack too.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
I didn't
want
grab
it.
that.
I
I don't
want
know
it.
why I didn't grab it, but I didn't grab it.
Yeah.
Well, I know what I'm gonna do later this week.
While on stream, Nathan pre-orders the map.
Yeah, just like here, hold off for a second. I need 5 minutes. No, there's a game store kind of in between here and where I go drive to class. So I'll just like one day as I'm driving home happen to take the wrong way and end up at the game store.
Why while
So
you're
I ended up
driving
20
home?
minutes late.
Why not as you're going?
Because if I do it as I'm going, then I won't pay attention to anything for the entire day because I will be reading the book. So I have to do it on the way home.
Nothing says you can't read and drive.
Actually, a cop told me that after I got the Ravnica book.
All right. Shall we play some D&D?
Let's do it.
All right. So to bring us back to last time, the party had finished all of their dealings in Drina, and after exchanging some things with the lodge and figuring out how their payment would be, as well as what the lodge would continue to do within the town, the party gathered their things, had a night of rest, and then in the morning made a few purchases and set off northwards towards Whitestone, where the party then spent the next 3 days traveling, most of it uneventful. They encountered a small town where they elected to camp outside the city limits as opposed to paying for staying at the inn. And then moving farther northward, they began entering the Parchwood timberlands, deferring then to Stefano for tracking and Malcolm for past knowledge, and having been through this area before, they began the trek through the dense forest, staying on the path for the most part, but as the day turned to night and the area around them got ever darker to the point where seeing 10 feet in front of you was incredibly difficult, party decided to make camp for the night, debating between building camp near the road or scouting for a clearing. Stefano and a few others moved in after Stefano, climbing a tree, found what appeared to be a clearing about 100 feet inward. The party decided to use the clearing as opposed to staying near the road, and in doing so, most of the night went without issue until a shambling mound arose from within the clearing itself. In a small scuffle ensued, at which point Stefano was engulfed, and the mound attempted to leave. And the party then chased, with Edwin bringing it down with some magic, turning it into a heap of mud and slag, pulling Stefano out from within the rubble. And that is where we pick up today.
I just want to say, what was that weird thing Edwin said when he killed it?
Oh, there was like a slip of the tongue, and I forget what it was.
Like, I've seen worse horrors, but it sounded like horrors because of the accent.
He was just talking about Stefano.
Got him.
Ouch. How much psychic damage is that?
That's going to be 4d10.
Gotcha. So I'm dead.
Yes.
Roasted alive.
But so it is, as the last bit of the night falls away and morning comes to in this clearing, another 2 to 3 days travel before you, that you begin.
Really should have listened to Malcolm.
Nobody tells Tom what to do. Not even Tom.
Oh, geez.
Clearly.
Time for watch, was it?
I doubt I'm gonna get much sleep after that. I'll keep watch.
Wasn't it like wasn't it myself and another person's watch when the shambling man happened?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I'll probably go back to sleep.
Just wide awake, looking at anything and everything that could be.
I only need to sleep for 4 hours.
You get that full 8.
Sleep.
They get that full 8.
So, Tanith, is it just you keeping watch then?
Probably.
All
I
right,
think
go ahead.
everyone else needs a rest.
So go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay.
No more.
Oh, then
5
just
more
comes-
mounds.
Stefano would dip.
No more mounds. You're just gonna notice all the trees start to move.
Stefano would be gone.
Well, that's a good sign.
Mist
Oh,
rolls
God.
over.
Let's see. First roll, 21.
All right.
Nice.
So yeah, as the morning light creeps over the horizon and the darkness of the forest slowly fades into that early morning light, the little bit of a chill hanging over the air, it does go without an issue. You don't see anything other than the kind of morning rustles of animals that begin to awaken and traverse the forest.
Pretty cold, so I just used prestidigitation to light the campfire.
Takes a little bit to get going, but you give it a start and let it roar upwards.
Ah,
As the rest of you begin to awaken to the quiet crackling of the fire.
Well, it's good to see there are no more issues during the night.
yeah, it was pretty quiet. For the most part.
See, not that bad of a campsite after all. Just one small thing.
You almost got eaten.
That's not the point.
You have a little thing here. Just pull a little leaf off, like a gnarled tree, little branch off. It's like when you let your pets go out. They get a little thing tangled in the fur.
Yeah, Stefano's fur definitely has twigs and dirt and all that tangled in it.
Oh yeah. Like wet matted bits of mud. Like, no, it's... I mean, it definitely doesn't hurt your disguise.
Tom is a dirty old drunk, so everything works with it.
Malcolm, if you'd like to lead us on then. I know we still have several more days of this.
Yeah, I recommend that we head back to the road, heading northward.
Be wise to follow your recommendations from now on.
Jab. Jab.
I'm too busy drinking to notice.
Yeah.
Sorry
So,
about that one.
Malcolm will start leading the party back onto the road and then northward again.
All right. You follow the road, easily enough. It's as well traveled as a road is going through territory like this. You do occasionally pass individual travelers, most of them horsebacked or riding carts. Very, very few people walking. Most moving at a much brisker pace than you are, especially a group of 5 on foot. But most just pass by, give slight acknowledgement as they pass, and move on.
Can I throw a pickpocket check on one of them?
Oh god.
On a moving horse?
No, I'd like
Or
just
like-
as we're walking by, just reach up and snag something.
Sure. There's
All right.
there was a cart that passed by with merchants. We'll see if you can snag anything from that.
Perfect. Don't screw me over. That is a nat 20.
Oh my God.
I am loving these dice.
Not a bad way for you to start your night. All right.
And it's gonna go downhill from here.
It would be hilarious if each roll resulted in just one reduction, so 19.
That would be terrible.
So you just have
Don't
to like.
wish that on me.
How many rolls do you get in a night?
Now that's a true challenge. Try it as possible.
Get Stefano all the way to 1.
He's constantly.
And then it stays stuck.
And then somehow a 0 appears.
Oh, that's a D10. I'm sorry. Never mind.
So are you looking to grab money or are you looking to grab items?
I'm looking to grab an item. I've got stacks.
Shit.
All right, so out of this cart, you reach over and you just looking like you're inspecting the cart perhaps or looking into the area beyond. You kind of stumble against the cart and look at the rider just, oh, sorry, just stumbled on the road, step back, and
I'm a bit drunk.
he just kind of gruffly nods at you, just keeps going. And you have a bag about a pound. That's when you open it, it has a greenish dust inside.
Oh, fantastic.
Give an enthusiastic wave away to the cart
I
and
mean-
any other passerbys.
All right, most people just kind of greet you with curt nods. A few raise a hand, but no one really seems to be looking to exchange courtesies out in the middle of the forest.
Why not?
So much friendly people.
And the dust in this bag, when it catches light, it is very reflective in its nature. But it is like a powder-like dust.
Interesting.
Which, actually, with your dealings in Whitestone, you would probably actually make a... just make an intelligence check.
So you're trying to get me to 1.
Yes. I have 19 to go.
All right, is this an investigation or just straight intelligence?
Just straight intelligence.
Goddamn, that's a heathen's 20, but I rolled an 18. So damn you, Malcolm.
It begins. So you know that this is residuum, which is the substance mined from Whitestone that is put into like plaster and other materials to give them the magical enchanting properties.
Okay, that's much better than convincing somebody to snort it and seeing what happens.
I mean, you could still do that. I don't know if there's any documented cases of people snorting residuum.
Not yet, you mean.
Hey, you can add it to the journal. I'm sure the gnome would appreciate it.
I think he'd pressure me to do it.
I mean, probably. But yes, you have about a pound, it feels like, of this dust.
Perfect. Out of character, Edwin. Is it good to give drugs to kids? Or to think that silence is a yes.
My God.
Poor Tanith is just gonna die.
Oh, I wasn't even talking about Tanith.
In this group? Are you talking
There's
about
children
other
in Whitestone.
Oh my God! Not even like your own child. You're gonna get somebody else's child.
Oh, please. Dude.
Residual.
First of all, Tanith is not my child. He's an adult who can make his own decisions.
I think he's the oldest person in this party.
And so this is how we piss off all the Derola family.
Oh my God.
Oh, man.
Shadow demons
That's
aren't going
again.
hungry tonight.
Perfect. All right.
All right, so your day continues otherwise without event. You have about 12 hours of walking before you get to the point where it's getting dark and you're getting tired. It's looking to rest. We'll go ahead and just to do the next 3 days of travel. We'll have a pair each do a watch for each night. And then if there's anything you'd like to do along the days, just say something and we'll just jump ahead so we can arrive to Whitestone. So who would like to do watch on the first night?
Me.
I'll take it.
All right, both of you roll perception, please.
Perfect.
Is that 13?
What was that?
13?
13?
That is a heathen's 20. I got a 19, so Malcolm is wrong.
That's
Oh, don't
is
say
that
that.
3 of them?
That is
Yeah.
3 20s in a row, 2 of them heathens.
All right, well, yeah, the first night goes without issue. As you are in a denser part of the forest now, being at least halfway through from where you initially entered the border of the forest to where you know what it begins to clear out towards Whitestone. You are hearing larger animals now than you have been the past few nights. The sounds in the brush are heavier. When you see things shake, it is significantly larger than something that would perhaps just be a squirrel or a smaller rodent. But nothing seems to get too close to your camp. Everything seems to give you a wide enough berth. So your first night goes without event. Is there anything anyone would like to do over the following day?
When we have downtime, I want to do wood carving.
Of course.
I'd like to.
Great.
I'm sorry?
18.
18?
For once, yeah.
You finally got above like a 10.
Yeah. Crazy.
So yeah, no, this night you've kind of sank into your rhythm again, and you find that it goes quite well. You make a lot of good progress, and it's starting to look like a very nice carving.
Oh.
Stefano,
I would like to try and make some more poison.
Oh, God.
go for it.
Well, some poison. I haven't
With
successfully-
what? You have a
With
poisoner's
the-
kit?
I do,
All right.
and half a thing of antidote.
Yes, you want to try and reverse concoct.
Exactly, and I know the DC is high for this.
Go
Consider
for
it my
it.
wood carving.
Go for it.
All right. That is a 12.
Yeah, just in going through, you spend another half a bottle, and while you certainly learn a little bit, you don't really make any progress as to reverse engineering this into anything beyond its original antidote properties.
Damn. That's all right.
Just to make a note of this, for you, the one that I was working on, I rolled 3 times on it now. The first 2 were 11s, and that last one was 18.
Oh, so then we can, yeah, you can go ahead and say you finished it.
Okay, cool.
Finished
Just
it,
making-
and you finished it with a flourish, even.
Awesome.
And, whatever you'd like it to be, by all means.
I have a whole notepad full of them.
I figured.
Ready to go.
All right. So, anyone else? Anything over this next day they would like to do? It's just going to be time spent on foot, walking through, following the path again.
Nothing for me yet.
All right. Well, then, for the second night, another 2 who would like to keep watch. Saray and Tanith. All right. Give me perception checks, please.
14.
And what was that, Saraya?
16.
16 and 14. All right, yeah. Again, just a relatively calm night. Sounds of the forest, wild and abundant, but nothing really gets too close to your camp. You get, as some things get closer, you kind of stand up and walk over in that direction, and it just scampers off, running away. Just probably a curious animal of whatever kind. Nothing threatening or dangerous. And as the next morning comes about, you have about, Malcolm and Stefano, you would know, you have about 6 hours walking So leaving by, the 8 or 9 in the morning, you'll get a little afternoon, you'll be arriving at Whitestone today.
Perfect.
So unless anyone has anything they would like to do, you begin setting out, and you start to see, after the first few hours pass, as you get closer, you get to where the first beginnings of some civilization. You see where there are been wood has been cut down. The road is more heavily traveled, and as you move for another few hours in, and these signs of civilization just increase, you eventually come over a hill crest to see the city of Whitestone spread out before you. All of its stone and wooden buildings arranged in a rough, kind of slightly bent rectangle, with the one main paved road out into the center of the wall in front of you. The entire city walled in on a precipice up above, behind the city itself, going towards the Alabaster Sierras. You see the monument that is Castle Whitestone. But from here, there are smoke pouring from the chimneys. There is activity through the streets. Even at this distance, you can see that compared to a lot of the towns you've been in, this is a much larger city.
Well, Edwin, here we are in Whitestone.
So
Yes, I only have one place I need to be, though. Unless you know where it is, Malcolm. Stefano. Where is the
it's
matron?
Tom. I don't know who the Stefano is.
Tom. Where would I happen to find the Church of the Matron Raven?
Oh, I know exactly where that is. And I'm gonna roll to see if I know where it is.
Ask if I can insight that.
Go for it.
Or not.
And
Okay.
Malcolm, you know that the temple to the Matron of Ravens is called the Woven Strand, and it lies in the northeastern part of the city.
All right.
So what exactly do you want me to roll to see if I know
Just
what that
roll an intelligence check. You've been in Whitestone before, so let's just see if
That
you
is
know.
a 9.
That is a 9. So
David's sign.
you know that there is one, and you know that it is in, when you're walking in, it's in somewhere on the right side of the city, and that's about all you know.
Gotcha. I'm gonna throw that deception check though, because I know Edwin is.
Go ahead. It's got to be at least a 16.
God damn it! I don't think it's a 16.
Passive insight.
That is a 13.
So you see Stefano visibly trying to recall some information, and just, it looks like he has some ideas, but you're not sure if the bulb went off.
It's flickering.
Stefano's been here. Tom hasn't.
I mean, he's got
It's
a point.
this way, and I just walk towards the city.
It's so big.
That's what she said, lad.
Who said it?
No one knows. Her, she.
Okay.
Malcolm's just going to be shaking his head. As Stefano heads off in what I'm assuming is not the right direction.
Well, I mean,
I'm
he's
going towards the right part of the city.
well, he's just heading off that in a direction. Which you know that it's he might eventually get there going that way. He's not going the wrong way.
That's a good description. That's like Stefano's biography subtitle. He's not going the wrong way.
It's just somewhere in the middle.
I'm just gonna keep following and then sort of just keeping my eye out for icons and other symbols and such to see if we're actually heading in the right direction.
Well, in the city itself, there, as you guys walk through and you see the kind of tightly pressed, bit larger buildings, most of them heavily stone construction with wood as kind of the framing and foundational work. inhabitants of the city kind of going about doing their tasks, farmers selling goods, you pass merchants, carts, all the like, keeping everything as the city just is in the middle of a day's work. You do see, as you're walking through, there are multiple temples, and the iconography of any specific one never really spreads far beyond that temple, except for Palor, which has a different name, and I always forget the Tal'Darim names. The Dawnfather. Thank you.
Godfather.
I always immediately revert back because I use the Dawn War Pantheon in like all of my stuff, so I just immediately revert back to that. But yes, the Dawnfather. You see those spread more throughout the city than the rest, while all the other temples tend to kind of have their iconography, have their places of worship, and that's where they stay. Which, as you do move deeper in, you get about halfway through the city when to the left you do see, opening into the square, the large sprawling feature that is the Sun Tree. Which, Malcolm and Tom, you have seen this before. To the rest of you, this is an entirely new sight. Malcolm, you know that just to the right towards the Sage's Gate, which leads you out into the graveyard of the city, is where the temple lies for the Matron of Ravens.
I'd like to look around and try to get my bearings.
Sure, what are you looking for?
I am trying to figure out which way is the right way.
For the temple?
Absolutely.
All right.
Don't screw me over. That is a 12.
All right. I mean, you know, again, you kind of have... You have, like, the general idea in your head. So you can do the... You can guide someone in the general direction, but it'd be like if someone were to ask you directions for a city you're kind of familiar with. Like, you could be like, it's in this area, but you couldn't actually give them, like, turn left, turn right, turn left, and you're there. Kind of levels of detail.
It's definitely this way. And I'm just gonna walk in a direction.
Once again, he's not going in the wrong direction.
Tanis is gonna just walk up to the Sun Tree and put a hand on it.
Well, it's a couple blocks away, so you'd be walking away from the
He's starting to make his way over there.
I'm gonna go with Tannis.
All right, the two of you head towards the tree. I take it the other three of you are just heading towards the temple.
I've been hired to lead this man eventually to the temple, and I'm going to eventually lead this man to the temple.
Malcolm's going to turn to Edwin and be like, oh, he's sort of going the right direction. Would you prefer more exact direction?
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna whisper this as he's walking in front of us. Let's play Stefano one of his own game.
Oh god!
And I'm gonna start walking down a road behind him and see if he notices leaving his path.
Well, go ahead and the two of you make stealth checks.
Okay.
Oh God!
And this is just against your passive perception on this.
Oh
one.
God, that's so terrible.
I believe it's 12.
A natural 20 and
Oh God!
a 17.
Oh.
Oh God! My passive's 11.
11. All right.
So my highest is actually a 16.
All right. And Malcolm,
So,
are you
that
going?
is going to be a 16.
All right.
Oh,
And are
God.
you and you're going with Edwin?
Yeah.
All right, so Stefano begins trotting off down the main street, and you guys follow him for about half a block before just kind of slowly sliding your way as you're walking to the left side of the road. You just slip down an alleyway, and Stefano keeps going, talking, pointing out little things in the city where he's like, yeah, I remember this and I remember that, and
Making up outrageous lies about them.
of course. And
That's fine. I'll just sell drugs to kids.
So drugs.
but-
Whatever you get in trouble while I'm not there, I don't.
Listen, it's not illegal if I don't get caught. All right.
and Stefano,
Bound to happen eventually.
about a block down, you like take a glance behind you and notice that you are now alone.
Where the fuck did they get jumped?
We're gonna get jumped.
Actually, I'm gonna go to the place that I have a certain thing for that we talked about a little while ago.
Shoot me a message on Discord to remind me, because
Yeah.
And all right, Malcolm and Edwin, where I take it you're just going to the temple.
Yeah, taking him to the temple.
Why do Malcolm take me to the temple?
All right, yeah, no issue at all. You've been here plenty of times, and you know how the back streets work in this area, especially because Whitestone is as it does have someone who oversees the construction of the city. Everything is organized relatively decently, so it is not a maze of streets. It's actually a relatively organized way to find your way around. So it only takes you another 10-15 minutes of walking before you come out to before you see first the wall in front of you that with the large gate that is the Sage's Gate, which lying beyond that is the city's graveyard. But to your right, situated up into the row of buildings, you see a wrought iron fence that pushes out around this large building. Well-kept grass around this somewhat circular structure that stands, created mostly out of the white stone from around the city, as well as it looks to be some kind of imported black obsidian. So it's just this building constructed of the darker wood, a blackened stone, and the white stone, into this sharp contrast of a 2-story building with large double doors on the front. No visible windows, but there are like just open holes near the top. They are like well constructed. They're not just holes in the building, but
Take it, this is the place.
This is the Woven Strand, as it's known as.
It is very much like he described. You can continue with me if you wish. However, I do believe I need to do this alone.
Do you mind my asking what it is, or is it deeply held close to you?
It's a bit of reflection, I'd say. I don't know what I really seek to find, but I'm hoping that I can find it here. And then once it's done, if I have found what I need to find, I will explain it to you, and maybe you alone. But then you'll have to explain things to me as well.
Seems fair. I will at least accompany you inside, and then I have my own business in there as well. So.
If you wish. And we'll head through that gate and on inside.
all right. So as you enter inside, you see that past the initial entryway, which has a couple of it looks to just be altars that are more decorative than for use. Beyond that, there is a single door, and there are a few priests that stand in there. No one bars your entry as you continue deeper into the actual central area of the temple, which is a circular room with a pool that sits just with full of this ankle-deep, somewhat cloudy liquid. Pillars line the room itself, 6 of them each, all equally spread apart, circular around the pool itself. 2 priests stand in the room, both adorned in black robes, one with a white mask covering the face, the other, his face open, and he turns to you as you enter, just, "Welcome. I do not believe we have yet been acquainted."
I'm Edwin Walker. For me, I'm in. This is Malcolm. He accompanied me here, and I just wish to speak to the matron, if possible, or someone who can.
Well, by all means, that is what this chamber is for. Do you wish privacy? Is this a conversation or would you like assistance in any way?
I can't say I've ever spoken to nature directly, so I don't quite know what I should be doing.
Well, that's a fair point. Allow me a moment, and I can assist you in this endeavor. Hold on, sorry. Gotta... There we go. He sends the other priest off, who returns with... it looks to just be a ritualistic blade. A long, thin dagger with a intricately carved hilt. Takes the dagger in his hand and he walks over and, taking your hand, he puts it in yours. Now, holding this, kneel into the center of the pool.
I will do that.
He doesn't enter the pool with you, he just stands just beyond it. Now, what is it that you wish? Do you simply wish to speak with her, or do you have a request or a question?
A question.
Keep that question close. Now, using the blade, draw a small bit of blood. Close your hand around it. Place the hand beneath the water. And wait. I believe this should be left to you. And he gestures to you, Malcolm, and exits the room.
I'll follow.
Okay. I'm gonna take my holy symbol up, just quickly untucking it from my front pocket, just sort of hold it there for a moment before moving the blade across my hand and sticking it into the water.
It takes a moment as you just watching the area around your hand in the cloudy water as the blood mixes with this kind of light gray of just the silt in this water. You notice that the initial red begins to turn black as the area around your hand begins to grow and grow. You kind of feel this slight tug as your hand sinks slightly deeper, the weight increasing. And then, in the silence, this feeling washes over you, this presence.
Why was I left alive? Why am I the only one here? Why was I chosen?
For a moment, there is no response. Only the weight that increases slightly on your shoulders, your body kind of leaning farther forward. Until a voice, ever so quiet, a whisper in your mind. I have need of you.
Why? Why did they deserve to go before I did? How am I supposed to be able to live with myself when they all left?
As you have been, all things will come to me in time. You will one day join them. That is not soon, for I have need of you.
Well, then how am I supposed to make up for their loss? That is what I wish to do first, and then I will do whatever you ask.
There's a long pause. And for a moment, you start to feel this presence lift, the weight off your shoulders. But before it leaves entirely, all you hear is, fight. And the presence is gone. You feel the weight lift from your body. The blackish water around your hand begins to fade back into that same red color, the ruddy red fading itself into that gray that echoes through the rest of the pool.
get up and head back out the door I came in.
As you exit, the masked priest walks over and takes the dagger from you. The elder approaches you. Did you find the answers you seek?
I may have.
The matron can be fickle.
I can see that.
He extends a hand, I don't believe I introduced myself. My name is Strawn. I'm the priest here at the temple.
Shake his hand. Well, Strong. Don't hope I have to come here anytime soon, but I may be back.
I would encourage it, honestly. The matron has a way of dealing with things, especially questions. Oftentimes, they are answered with more questions. With time, I think you'll figure out what you want, but don't hesitate to ask for help, truly.
I see. Thank you.
Of course. And he and the priest return into that room.
I'm going to say anything as they begin to leave. I'm just going to, as they enter into their room, I'm exiting out where we came.
All right. Malcolm?
All right. Well, after after we had left Edwin to his devices, I probably would have just talked with the head priest I had gone with.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, so as you two exit, leaving Edwin in there, he exchanges a brief word with his acolyte, who runs off to do a few small tasks.
As he was talking to that, Malcolm would have pulled out his amulet of the Matron of Ravens and kind of just been... Is there any iconography in this
plenty
area?
of it, yes.
Okay. You would have gone up to one of those iconographies of a depiction of the matron, looking at the amulet of the iconography, not wanting to interrupt the priest from his duties, by all means, and would have said, "Thank you for the knowledge that you bestowed on the generations before myself, which has since helped me find a guidance that I did not have before." And just would have been essentially thanking the matron for the creation of the claret orders. And then not really sure, because it's still all fairly new to him.
Mm-hmm.
What else to really do at that point?
Well, so as you say your prayer and you go through kind of stammering over your words a bit, figuring out what praying really is, as that's a very new concept to you in a lot of ways.
Well, you prayed with Pelor.
That's true.
So this is like completely different.
Yeah, it's kind of that like do is this the same? Are there things that I need to do? Am I missing some things? But as you kind of stumble over your words, you get through all that you want to say. And as you kind of turn, you see the elder priest who was standing there just kind of silently waiting for you to conduct your prayers. Just, I see you are a partaker as well. You are a practitioner of our faith.
Yes, not directly, not as much as what I gather. My friend is out there, but nonetheless.
There is no greater or lesser of practitioners, my friend. She watches over all. All who ask are heard. Is there anything I can assist you with?
Mostly, I'm fairly new to following the Raven Queen. But is there any guidance you can give about possibly if out on the road, like just speaking with her, or is just praying in general all right? I mean, I grew up under the guidance of the Dawn Father before finding Matron.
Well, you'll find that in a lot of ways, she is a little bit antithetical to the Dawn Father. The Raven Queen, in many ways, while many look at her as the goddess of death, is more seeking balance. All that lives must die, all that begins must end. In this, glory her. Speak with her as you will. As one who champions her ways, she will listen, even if it does not feel like she is there. Sometimes all you must do is ask, and you will receive an answer. But do have patience.
Very well. Thank you.
Of course. And at this point, Edwin comes out, and he turns from you, and the acolyte comes back, receives the dagger. They go in, the two of you exit.
As we exit, I would pocket the amulet.
All right.
Not necessarily doing anything to hide it, but just pocket it nonetheless.
All right. So, yeah, not overt, but Edwin, you do notice that he is carrying a similar sigil.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just walking out. I'm not really saying anything.
All right. So next we'll go ahead and jump to Tanith and Soraya as you approach the absolutely gargantuan tree that stands at the center of the square. This bright brownish orange bark to trees of all colors of yellow and orange that almost seem to glow in the light. The entire square is built around this gargantuan tree. The stalls all give it a decent berth, as the area in the center seems to be this place of worship, place of relaxation, a place where people can just come and bask in the glory. And I mean, looking around, you can see that there are sigils of Palor, there are overt depictions of religious iconography, which kind of leads you to see why you saw them everywhere, as this becomes kind of connected to what is probably the large founding religion of the city itself. The square itself is a bustle with activity, as merchants have their stalls set up. There are people going to and from. As this is the center of the city, many people pass through here just to get to any other part of the city. So at any point, all the streets are filled with people coming and going, but the central area around the tree itself, people do seem to give it a bit of space. So when they're just traveling with a cart or on horseback or in a group, they do not let themselves crowd the tree too much, as there are a couple priests in just simple robes who are around the roots of the tree, kind of tending to it and keeping it clean.
It's beautiful.
I don't think we should touch it.
You said there was various religious iconography
Of Palor, yes.
Ah. I
The Dawnfather, sorry. I'll get better at that.
Oh, don't worry. I'm going to try and get a little closer as I pull out my book, and I'm going to try and make a sketch of the tree first, and then of the on like the other page of the symbol of Pelor.
Cool.
I'm gonna peek over his shoulder while he does this.
And you just a pretty solid drawing of the tree and a little bit that kind of captures just the scale of it to people, as well as a clean drawing of the symbol of the Dawnfather below on the same page.
And then a little question mark next to it.
What is the question mark for?
What? Oh, I don't really know what symbol this is for.
That's right. Elves.
I-
Enclosed city. Do I know what this is?
Make a religion check.
Okay.
The two people together with the least amount of religious knowledge.
I came from a monastery.
Yeah, you did.
16.
Yeah. No, it's not a symbol you are intimately familiar with, but you do know that this is the symbol of the Dawnfather.
I'm gonna take his pencil and I'm gonna like just write it underneath. Maybe like scribble out the question mark a little bit.
I've never heard of that before. I'll admit, back in Singorn, most of the worship's for the Arcart.
I don't know what that is. Both the player and the character probably don't know.
You're confused. I'm just going to explain. The Arcart is the god who made, well, us. I point to me.
Elves?
Made elves, yeah, and magic, and filled the world with all of the magic it has. And every spring we give thanks to the Arcart for his or her gift. Changes every time. I'm going to approach one of the priests. Just, excuse me, sir. Can you tell me a little bit about this tree?
Yeah, and are you flagging down one of the priests?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just walk right up to.
Yeah. And he turns around and just nods to you. This is the Sun Tree. This has been the monument of our city for nearly, has to be 600 years now.
It's quite beautiful.
That it is.
Died.
I'm sorry?
Does anything live this? I look at Kenneth. You live this long, right?
It's older than most of the elves I know.
Well, this is a God-given gift to the founders of our city, and as such it has been something that we pride ourselves over, and we look to in times of hardship as a beacon, and it serves to lighten our city in even the darkest of times.
Can you tell me a little bit about the this Dawn Father? I'm clearly writing notes
Right.
in front of him.
Well, the Dawn Father is our Lord, the Lord of agriculture and harvest, the keeper of time, and the Lord of sun and summer. He has a special place here among our large population of farmers and commoners. Those are his people. Those are the ones he looks to as the truest worshippers of his ways, those who tend the land and live off of it in their own simple ways. He is, as his name suggests, a father. He's not a soldier, he's not a fighter. He's a father figure to all who welcome his ways.
He sounds like an incredible god.
He is a wonderful patron, and he watches over us and this city as he has for so long.
Would it be okay if I were to take a leaf from here?
There are actually many who do just that. By all means.
And I'm going to pick out a leaf and put it in between two blank pages.
Yeah, you pluck a leaf from the tree, and as you place it in the pages, you see that at least for a moment, as it sets in there, there's this ever so slight glow that kind of fades as you close the book around it.
Just gonna lean in a little bit with a bit of a raised brow at that. Just look back up at the tree. I'm going to reach up and take another leaf.
You grab one more, and the priest just kind of like cocks his head a little, just curious.
Does it have a glow that noticeably sort of...
I mean, it's a very faint glow that only really against the pages could you see it. But are you just putting this one in the book as well?
Yeah. Can I make an Arcana check?
Sure.
God. While he's plucking leaves, can I ask the priest if there's a library in...
Yes, there are. I believe there are two, one of which is more accessible than the others. The other is maintained within Castle Whitestone itself. But yes, there is a library just... it's going to be just a few blocks that way, and he points off west.
That is a 22.
22. I mean, as far as you can tell, there is nothing distinctly, like, arcane about the leaves. There's no arcane magic of any kind that you can see that is doing anything to them.
Odd. I close the book. Thank you for your time, kind sir.
By all means, that is why we are here. If you have any other needs or simply wish to commune with the Dawn Father, don't hesitate to return.
Thank you. And I'm going to look to Soraya. And
Sorry, I've started wandering off in the direction of the library at this point.
All right, yeah. So you see her like kind of leaving, and you.
I'm gonna just follow her.
All right, you head on after her.
Yeah. He is getting a bit hungry though, so if there's any like shops at all that sell any food.
Oh, there's plenty, especially here in the main square.
Ah.
What kind? I mean, there's meat vendors. There are those who are selling produce.
You know, he hasn't had any like fresh, good food in a while. He's probably gonna go over to the produce vendor and get like an apple.
Yeah, just cost you a couple copper pieces.
Yep. Start making his way back. Are there any blacksmiths in the town?
Not in the main square, no.
Well, he's going to keep following along to try and catch up with Soraya.
All right. All right, yeah, easy enough. You head over and catch on up with her.
Yeah.
And then At this point, now we'll jump over to Stefano.
Who's definitely not doing anything illegal, so don't even worry about it.
Never. Stefano would never do such a thing.
He's a good soul. Now Tom, on the other hand, is a piece of shit.
So you go ahead and head on to a familiar place that you've been many times before.
Perfect.
You see it's a single-story timber and brick building, heather thatched roof, in an inn off in the southern area of the city, somewhat close to the main gates, about a block away, called the Hooded Boar.
Gotcha. Perfect. So I'm gonna go ahead and go inside.
All right. And so as you enter, you see the area itself just being this relatively simple area, wooden tables, a good amount of people in here. This seems to just be one of the more cheaper, affordable taverns, although there are people of a lot of different types here. There are merchants, there are commoners, looks to be more of the kind of thuggish type, people who are more of the scoundrels. The barkeep, just this older human male who, you know him, as in he nods to you as you come in, this dark tanned skin, very sun-beaten, wrinkled, especially around the eyes and on the forehead, larger prominent nose, bit of a hook to his left side of his mouth, his eyes kind of permanently locked in a squint. You see the build of his body is slightly smaller, but corded muscle, aside from what has grown more since the last time you were here, a little beer belly that's kind of sticking out from underneath the leather tunic. You know this to be Tane, the barkeep and owner of the Hooded Boar.
Hello there, Tane. How you doing today?
Oh, it's good to see you again.
What
What do you have?
Why don't you give me 2 shots sideways?
Oh, you're looking for that again? Jeez.
Aye.
Must have been a hard-working morning, huh?
Absolutely.
Well, I think you'll find what you're looking for in the back. Just take the door on the left there.
Of course. And I'm going to take the door on the left.
Yeah, you head on in there, and it's just, you see that it's a room that at first glance is just several crates, barrels, but if you move into the back corner, there is a stairway that leads into a lower cellar that is as large as the initial room itself, practically an entire second bar. And down there you see a large, well, not maybe 10, 15 people that are just kind of seated, a few at tables gambling, playing different forms of cards or dice, a couple scheming over what you see looks to be like a map of the city, pointing out a few things, as well as its own barkeep down there, just a smaller gnomish man with a ponytail pulled tight, a bit of a beard that goes down to about his chest. And you see your past contact at many times, this taller, slender, elven woman, very pale skin, dark mane of black hair. You know this as Lyra, the master of the clasp in the city here.
Perfect. Hello there, Lyra. How you doing?
She turns to you and looks you over, all the mud and twigs and the pirate outfit, and just... I see you've gotten no less creative with the way you choose to hide your face.
Of course. Always a hide in the plain sight. That's what I say.
Well, that's one way to go about things. She extends a hand. It's been a long time.
Of course. I'm going to shake her hand.
Are you here for pleasure or for work?
A little bit of both. But I have something for some of our older friends. And I'm going to pull out the drow amulet.
She just extends a hand.
put it in her hand. He had died to some unfortunate circumstances.
She turns it over a few times, just.
By chance, did you at least get his name?
I could not. Those unfortunate circumstances, they were not the patient.
Well, we're already on thin ice at times already, so I'll see how we can get this to blow over. Was it an isolated incident, or did you end up on the wrong side of a cage again?
It was an isolated incident. And it wasn't even me.
I've heard that excuse so many times before, I'm not sure how often I believe it.
You know me. I like to have fun. Sometimes the people get in the way. But this time it wasn't me.
All right. I'll make sure this gets delivered to the right people, and perhaps they'll know a little more about ways to use it.
Fantastic.
She just kind of like pockets it.
Well, if you wouldn't mind having a seat, I'd be interested in hearing about where you've been for the last while. Haven't left this city in far too long.
Fair enough. I'm gonna go ahead and take a seat next to her.
Well, so how are things faring beyond the walls?
Things are okay. I haven't quite lost my pursuer, but I'm pretty sure he doesn't know who I am.
Well, I can't say I'm surprised, considering you change who you are every month.
You can't find a man if you don't know who he is.
Well, you're not wrong on that, and it's definitely aided you in some jobs at times. Say, you still in contact with your old troupe?
No, absolutely not.
Are you sure about that?
Absolutely not. We are not in contact. You haven't seen them.
Well, that's kind of why I'm asking, because I haven't.
Oh, that's a shame. I haven't seen them. Do you have any jobs for me?
Well, I certainly do have jobs for you. We've got plenty of jobs. What kind of job are you looking for? What are you interested in this time?
You know, I'm just a simple rat catcher. If you have me, getting rid of some rats, that would be perfect.
Well, we've got this one rat. He's quite annoying some of the townsfolk, as you'll find he squeals quite a lot.
Those are quite annoying rats. A lot of people sleep peacefully when the squealing rats are getting rid of.
Well, you shouldn't have too much trouble finding him. She digs through some of the, she like reaches behind the bar, and you see her kind of flip through this stack of papers that sits on a ledge just below.
Well, alright, it looks like you shouldn't have too much trouble finding him. He's a merchant, hangs out in the square oftentimes. Let's see, what's his name? That's odd. His name is Gar? Humans have horrible names.
Gar.
Gar. His name is Gar Ferroflare.
Gar Ferroflare.
Description puts him at about, looks to be 5'10". Describes him as being slightly heavy set, bald head, long beard. Just says he's a merchant and he often gets in trouble. Well, I guess you should be able to find him from there. It shouldn't be too hard to find a man named Gar.
Exactly, especially one matching that description. Don't worry. What's the pay for this job?
This one, well, the man who, as per usual, wishes to remain anonymous. I think they forget who we are sometimes. He said that it is a 100 gold fee if you can do it at all, and he'll double it if you can do it without anyone knowing.
So an accidental type, or without anyone knowing I was there?
Either accidental, or more so just it takes people a long time to figure out why he's gone. And by the time they do, all the evidence has just long since disappeared, as it often tends to.
It's odd how that just happens, yes.
Well, if you're up for it, then I'll let him know that his job has been accepted.
Of course. Go ahead and let him know.
All right.
And speaking of, I'm looking for some things to help. I'm looking for some things to help me boost certain skills. Like, make me. Let's say if I was in a fight, make me not feel getting stabbed.
For a moment, when you said boost certain skills, I got a little worried, I'll be honest.
I have no problem in that front.
I don't really need to find out on that one. But I believe we might be able to help you. At the very least, I can probably acquire you a potion of healing. But beyond that, might be a little beyond our reach at the moment.
Well, hopefully with this rat gone, things become a little bit easier.
Yeah, sometimes it tends to take a favor for a favor to come back around.
Favors make of this world turn around. All right, so how long do I have? Do I have a time limit?
On this one, he didn't give a time limit. He just said he wants the man gone. To be honest, he didn't even really give a detailed description why. He just said, be rid of him.
Fair enough. Besides, it's better to not know why.
Sometimes I'm curious. It's always funny, the things that'll drive someone to pay for another man's death.
Humans especially are so petty.
They jump to it very quick. Must come with the territory of living so short.
Of course. Okay, so I will get started.
Well, one last thing before you go.
Yes.
It's regarding your troop. As you say you haven't seen them, I'm simply curious. Damokos left shortly after you did, and we have not seen him since. He left the city completely, and... well, I can't say I know what happens to Kaylin, as she doesn't really stick around for us to find out, but if you do hear anything, do please let us know.
Of course.
You don't know anything about Damokos?
I'm going to lean in. I think he may be my pursuer.
Really?
But I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Could be just me being a paranoid.
Well, I mean, at the very least, he left not long after you did, so that would kind of make sense. Well, perhaps we can dig into this a little more. I didn't really consider it worth much time, as well, honestly, neither him nor Kaylin are people who I consider worth my time.
Exactly, so we don't need to worry about them at all. But if I do hear anything, in the small chance that I do, I will let you know.
Good. I want to know all that happens in this city, and this is one of the few things that has eluded me.
Of course.
Do let me know, Stefano,
Absolutely.
or whatever it is you're calling yourself these days.
It's a Tom. When you see me out on the streets, it's a Tom.
Tom. So be it, although I can't say you'll ever see me out on the streets.
Fair enough. All right. So I'm going to go, get drunk, get this job done.
Good luck.
Fantastic. Thank you. And I'm going to leave.
All right. So where would people like to go? What would people like to do?
I don't know where anyone is.
Nope.
So I'm
Well,
gonna go.
right now you have 3 groups of people that all have no idea where each other are.
Yep.
So I guess I'm going to head to the square. See if I can find Gar.
All right.
I'm going to the nearest bar.
Well,
That's
the
about it.
nearest bar from you... that would be the Journey's End.
All right.
A 2-story, half-timbered building. You see, this one is actually a quite nice building with several stained glass windows along the front that looks to have once been some sort of a manor that has been since gutted and changed into a tavern. As you walk in, you see that it has its own private collection of artwork on the walls, and the area itself is actually
these very nicely constructed tables, all adorned with some at least, have bits of carvings or metal rings along the outside. Everything in here is both well kept and, in its own way, slightly ornate. You see a taller female dwarf standing behind the bar. A few patrons in here, not too busy at this time.
And I'm just taking a seat at the bar and ordering a stiff fucking drink.
She just comes over to you and just places it. That's gonna be 2 silver for you.
I hand her a gold. Keep them coming until I'm out.
I can do that. And Malcolm, what are you doing?
I would like to look around and try to find any shops of any sort that might have just to browse and see what's available, like any if there's any availability for in either standard adventuring items, possibly enchanted items.
Okay.
Just to see what's out there in this town, city.
Okay. Looking around, you can find there's this larger building that seems to be some sort of a general store, although out to the side there is like a small smithy that is a part of the building itself. And it's just labeled the Volcanic Anvil.
All right.
I take it you head inside?
Yeah.
Yeah, you head. So inside you see 2 quite tall, standing probably 6'4" each, dragonborn. One of a dark red, the other of a copper, that are, for the moment, arguing behind the counter about what appears to be quality of certain materials that they have received. The walls themselves, off to the left, you see more of the kind of general store, where it has bags, rations, all that kind of thing adorned on the shelves. To the right is more of the smithy, which is the smaller section of the store, but it does have weapons, some little bits of armor, and shields and the like.
I just by looking around, because first thing Malcolm would probably look for, are there any other firearms in this store?
Any firearms? In this one, no.
Okay. And I will approach the 2 dragonborn.
It takes them a moment before they turn to you as they continue their argument, and the one with the just simple red scales kind of like waves at the copper scaled one.
Go buzz off to your work. Let me handle this. Hello. What can we assist you with?
Hello. Yes, I was wondering, I don't know if you would carry this or if you would know of anyone else who might carry it, but I am looking for perhaps something that might help me to see in the dark a little better.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to laugh.
Oh no, it's totally fine.
No, I kind of did. Let me see. I'm not much in the means of magical things, but I might be able to find you something that helps out just a little. Let's see.
He walks over and you see him grab a pile of torches off the wall of the general store, and he puts them back on the table.
That's about, I think, the best thing we're gonna have.
I pull out one of my own torches and set it down on the counter and say, not really effective with the fighting that I do in the dark.
You know, you should try lighting it first.
Out of game. Fair play, Nathan. I have. And sometimes the light doesn't reach as far as I would need it to.
Well, so then what are you looking for? You're gonna have to be a little more specific here, because if you're looking for something magical, you're in the wrong place, I'm sorry. But that's not really what I do. It's not what he does either. Bastard.
Not a problem. Do you know of anyone in the city who might dabble in magical items?
There's certainly a few. There's actually a decent amount of the sorceress type here in the city. Always makes for some interesting happenstance. But yes, there are shops.
Would you be so kind as to point me in the direction of one, and I will put 2 gold on the counter.
He just like, he takes one and he kind of like turns it over in his hand for a second.
I'm tempted to take this, but I promised him I'd stop doing that.
And he pushes it back.
I've got a bit of a gambling problem, and I'll just tell you where it is. It's gonna be over that way.
And he points, which from your knowledge is back kind of towards the square from where you are.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a pretty hard thing to miss. You shouldn't have trouble.
Very well, and I will make sure to let my traveling companions know about your shop. They might need some gear as well.
Oh, please do. In fact, I can give them advice on how to use it too. I'm sure they'll enjoy that.
Yes, I'm sure they
That's
will.
free of charge, by the way.
Oh, of course. Thank you. And then I will go looking for this shop.
As you leave, you hear like for a moment there's nothing, and then some voice, like as the door's closing, you hear voices start being raised again as they like resume their argument.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll go ahead and jump now to Tanith and Soraya, you guys are just looking for a library?
I need to do some research.
I'm going to let her know, after catching up with her, that I am going to be trying to find some blacksmiths. And start trying to make my way over to whatever district that is. Basically, I'm going to pick a direction and walk until I find what I hope is a blacksmith.
Okay.
But I am going to let Soraya know that I know exactly what I'm doing.
I don't believe you for this.
Random direction.
All right, it's as you continue, you see not long outside of the square there is a building that just has the front window does have a bunch of books kind of piled in it, not really in any specific order. The sign just hanging there, it's just a simple wooden sign, just says the Athenaeum.
Oh shit, you were talking to me.
Yes.
My bad. I was like, why are there books at a blacksmith shop?
No.
Why are there guns at this library?
Is there like anyone here?
Is what was that?
Is there anyone here?
Yeah, as you come in, there's just, or like just looking at the outside, or
Oh no, inside.
Yeah, there's there's a couple people that are just browsing, standing in the just looking at some of the books, and you see just seated behind the counter in a kind of larger chair. There's an elderly gnome, kind of balding, his hair kind of combed over the top, a little bit of a beard kind of growing on his face. These kind of smaller reading glasses just perched atop a pretty large nose, just thumbing through a book.
Okay. I'm gonna ask him. Excuse me.
He just looks up from the book at you, and I mean, he's especially seated. He's a good bit shorter than you. His eye is kind of barely sitting above the counter, so he just looks up.
Oh, well, hello there. I'm sorry, I wasn't really paying too much attention there yet. A little engrossed in the book. What can I help you with?
I was wondering if you had books on curses.
Oh, that's a heavy topic. Are you looking for books on like how to do curses? Because I'm sorry, that's not really our thing.
No. More information on types of curses and maybe how to remove them.
I can't say that's gonna be something I can guarantee you that we have, but I can help you look. Let's see.
He like stands up from the chair, and you can see by the way he stands up just how old he probably is. There's a little bit of a sag to his shoulders as he walks, and it's as much of a shuffle as a walk. And he kind of moves around the corner and off to one of the walls, and he starts just kind of like running his hand along the spines of the books on the shelf, just muttering kind of the titles as he looks over them. Just
let's see. Well, this is probably gonna be.
And he pulls a book off the shelf and kind of like wipes a little bit of the dust off it and hands it to you. And it's just, you see, it's a just it looks to be as much a journal as it is like a printed book.
That was the studies of a man named Kilithus, and he had some documentation on a lot of magical natures and the like. So there might be something about curses in there, but that's probably gonna be the closest thing we've got.
Okay. Are we allowed to take these out? Can I check this out?
Well, I could either, if you just want to keep it, I could sell it to you, or if you're just gonna, I generally just kind of loan books for a day if people want them, because these are just all the books I collected over the years, and I like to see them get used.
Oh. How much would this one be?
That one, that's gonna be 2 gold for that one.
I'm gonna reach into my backpack that's encumbered with 2 kinds of rope and pull out 2 gold. It was.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna give him
Well, thank you. I'm always glad to see a book go to someone who will appreciate it.
And put it in my backpack and then look around a little more, and then I'll thank him and leave.
For sure. Yeah, he nods to you and heads back to where he's gonna go read as you glance around the store a little more. And Tanith, you are looking for a blacksmith.
Yep.
In where would you like to head from where you are? You're in like the western part of the square.
The western part of the square.
The temple was in the eastern part of the city.
But do I know that?
Well, I mean, you know where you came from.
That is true.
Which, you guys were over there, and like you have crossed the square in that direction.
I did say random directions, so let's say north?
Alright, you start heading north, and going along that route, you do pass Malcolm, who is heading towards the square.
Hey.
Hello.
I keep walking.
Yep, you continue in your opposite directions now. And you end up at the same place that Malcolm was, where it does have the blacksmith seated outside, the smaller blacksmith, but a blacksmith nonetheless.
I'm going to enter the store and look to see if they have any firearms and see that they don't.
You're right, they do not have firearms.
I'm going to approach. Are they still arguing in there?
As you look, as you enter, you actually only see a copper dragonborn standing about 6'4", pretty widely built, very barrel chested. Kind of looks at you as you come in, just nods.
What do you need?
Hello. I was looking to have a bit of work done on something. I reach for my pack and pull out a. Actually, do you guys sell any shields?
Shields? Look at the wall. There's a few shields right there. Yes, we sell shields.
I'm gonna look and see if they have a better buckler than the one I have.
I mean, they look to be just standard, well-crafted shields. Nothing. I mean, there are larger shields. Like there is seated on the floor, kind of like leaning against the wall. It looks to be like a tower shield.
As amusing as that be, I had to decline that one. I'm going to look back to the blacksmith. I had a few odd requests, and I was looking to see if your shop could fulfill them.
Well, it depends on the request, because we don't really deal with a lot of odd here.
I'm going to reach in, pull out my arcane symbol, which is a sort of a symbol to the arc heart. I'm going to pull out my buckler.
Oh, you got one of them religious doohickeys.
Yes, I was wondering if it were possible, could I have this affixed onto my shield here?
He like reaches under the counter and he pulls out a little bit of rope.
I mean, that's not hard.
I was looking for something a bit more permanent in terms of binding it.
Oh, so you want it like... You want it heated and actually permanently fixed to your shield?
Yes.
I see. Why didn't you say that?
And he like takes the shield from you and he kind of like examines the metal of it. Just,
you know, I'm gonna be honest, I don't actually know what I'm looking at. Let me grab the other one.
And he just kind of tosses the shield onto the counter and you see him walk into the back. And just, you hear like a shout and then a shout back and a little bit of back and forth before another dragonborn comes out. Just as widely built, but this one a lot thicker in the arms. The red dragonborn with the just kind of long horns that shoot out the back of his head. And just,
he says you're looking for some smithing.
Yes, I was.
Well, what do you need?
I'd like to see if I can affix my arcane symbol here, I say, to my shield here.
And I take it you want something more permanent than rope?
Yes.
All right. Well, I mean, we've got a few ways we can go about this. I could recast some things and actually just create a whole new shield that has the symbol on it, or we can just try and combine the two. It's going to be a weaker hold, but it'll probably work unless the shield's taking heavy beatings all the time.
Would recasting be a bit quicker?
Oh, no. That's going to take a lot longer. That's me making you a whole new shield.
Speed is key here, so I think I'll take the other option.
Alright, I can fasten that to you. Just heat it, weld it, combine it, make it one piece. You want it centered, right?
Yes.
Well, I'll do my best.
And, do you guys do any leather working?
I think Prysath might dabble, but I don't think either of us are very good at the fine work.
Oh, it's perfectly all right. I'm looking for someone, if you could recommend, who dye some of these leather here.
Oh, dyeing leather. That I honestly couldn't help you.
Ah,
That one I have no clue. I'd say just try a tailor.
thank you very much.
For sure.
How much is it going to be for this modification?
Let's say, run you about 3 gold.
3 gold?
Yeah, we can. Since you're providing everything and all you're paying for is me to do it, I'll do 3 gold.
I reach into my pouch and I pull out 4 gold. And I ask, speaking of which, though, do you know perhaps where I could buy some firearms or find some more information on firearms?
He takes the 3 gold from you and slides one of the gold back across the counter. Just,
Firearms are pretty regulated here in the city. You'd probably have a better time talking to the guard because, they maintain the riflemen, so they'd probably have a good chance of telling you where to get that fixed.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Wonderful help. I say, turning around and leaving to try and find a tailor's.
all right.
Is there any nearby?
Yeah, I mean, it takes you a little bit of walking before you can spot a place that looks to be just a simple tailoring kind of clothes shop.
Perfect. I'm gonna make my way inside.
Mm-hmm. You see a human man, looks to be in his late 30s, starting to get a little bit of a receding hairline, a bit of scruff on his face as you turns around, sees you come in. Ah, welcome. What is it we can help you with today?
Hello, good sir. I was looking for some repairs to be done on this and a bit of modification. I say, pointing to the bright red studded leather armor I wear.
Oh, wow, that is a nicely crafted piece. What do you need done to it?
It's seen some battle damage, so I'd like some of it repaired, and if possible, I'd like to look into having it dyed.
Of course. Might take a little extra dye to get this color out, but I believe it could be done. What color are you looking to become?
A dark blue.
A dark blue. Well, being that we're switching it from already being a certain color, it's probably going to be quite dark. I don't know how much the blue will stay. It'll probably be a very blackish blue. Is that all right?
That's perfectly fine. Thank you.
All right. And just for this piece, correct?
Oh, and I take off the hat. This too, of course.
This as well. And also patch and dyeing, I take it? Of course. Pulls out a small abacus, and he has a parchment and a quill, and he's kind of like making a few notes and sliding a few things. It'll probably take about 2 days' time before we can have that ready for you. But when we're all said and done, I believe that'll run you about 7 gold.
7 gold? Sounds good. And I pay the man 7 gold.
All right, and can I get a name for your order, sir?
That's Stefano.
Stefano, of course. All right, and a last name, if you please.
Whitecat.
Stefano Whitecat, of course. Might I say, where's your name from, sir?
I come from a outer district of Singorn.
Oh, wonderful. Well, welcome to Whitestone. You've come quite a distance.
Thank you.
And so, yes, it'll be about 2 days' time, and we should have those ready for you.
Sounds perfect.
All right. You exit the store, and
Yep.
it's...
Now in my common clothes.
And this store is called Harkin's Warehouse.
Harkin's Warehouse. Got it. Write that down. And I'm going to go on a quest to find a guard.
Is it, so what else, so just to see what everyone else is doing, since all of you are doing different things. What are other people up to right now?
I'm like hanging out around Gar's shop without trying to. I'm acting drunk, trying to just like leaning up against either a building or something, staking out his place while just seeming like I'm too drunk to walk around.
Okay. Edwin, are you just hanging out at the bar, keeping drinking?
Drinking away the entire day.
All right. And Malcolm?
Going to that enchantment shop.
Right. And Soraya, what are you thinking of doing now?
Sorry, I was fixing my internet.
Oh, you're totally good. You didn't miss anything. We're just kind of figuring out what everyone's doing.
Oh no, I could hear you still, which is
dope.
weird.
Oh, whoa. All right.
Yeah. I am just gonna find some place quiet, and I'm going to read my new book.
All right. So
I
then...
suggest the hooded boar.
You're not here.
Oh my gosh. So
Stefano, white cat.
Malcolm, you find a store that is, like they said, generally hard to miss, as the outside is this painted blue color in this bit of a what's the word? When it's like a painting on the outside, on like a wall. Mural, thank you. Like this just painted mural on the front of this building that in the shop window, which in itself has this arch of stained glass into it, you see the inside, which is covered in a mixture of both alchemical supplies and other various powders and things all scattered about in, well, it seems to be organized to somebody, not really everybody. You see out, there's just this sign posted on the front that just says general nonsense.
I will go in.
All right. You head in and you see a dwarven man. Looks to be a bit younger, maybe late 20s. He's got his hair cut real short. The little bit of a beard that he's got growing is well plaited, kept, kind of braided through the mustache, and the just dark of his hair against very lighter pale skin, who's kind of working on things at the counter, sees you come in. Just, oh, good morning. Well, I suppose it's not morning anymore. What can I get you?
Oh, well, I'm looking to perhaps purchase a certain item if I can locate it, or maybe depending on cost, mission it if it would be at all possible. If you do any of that sort of.
I mean, I might be able to kind of make something up. You got some, like, what kind of specifics? What are you after?
Well, I'm looking for a way to, without using torches, see at night. Or campfire, anything like that. Just be able to see at night without light being needed.
So you just want, like, a way that you can see. Man. All right. So you've got to, like, increase that natural deficiency in the human eye that doesn't really like darkness. Well, I do have a thing that might work just for you. It's these goggles. And he, like, walks over and you see him, like, push a few things on a shelf aside, and he pulls out. Looks to be just kind of a simple, almost like a heat resistant, like, tinkering goggles.
but the lenses themselves are this kind of bluish clear.
Well, if you wear them and it's dark, then it's well, it'll help you see at least up to what's on par for lots of people.
Sounds pretty much exactly what I'm looking for, almost.
Well, I'd hope so. I mean, it's kind of one of the few things that's going to answer your question.
Yeah. And what would the cost be on that item?
Let's see. That's probably going to run you about 200 gold. Just judging for the time of the enchantment and all that.
Of course. And do you have any potions in here of different sorts?
Oh, I've got lots of potions. What kind are you looking for?
Always interested in healing potions, of course. But what else? What else do you have?
Well, I've got a couple of different potions of varying kinds of strength. I've got a potion of haste. It'll make you a little bit faster. Put a spring in your step. And then, well, beyond that, I might have to take a look and see, because it'll depend on what's in the back. So those are kind of the ones I know off the top of my head. Got potions of healing, potions of strength, potion of haste. Yeah, that'll be about where you're looking.
All right. And how much are your potions of healing?
Those are going to run you 50 gold apiece.
50 gold apiece, all right.
How many would you like?
Let's... Just looking through my stuff real quick.
Yeah, you're good.
My sheet. Well, I'll be honest. We're both... I would be interested in a potion of healing and those goggles. However, I am just a tad bit short on funds at the moment for both.
How short we talking? Well, more so, tell me what you'd like to pay for the both. We'll see what we can talk down.
How about... let's say... would you be willing to go to 220?
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, yay, persuasion. 14.
14? 235. I'd knock 15 off.
That was 235, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Make that a little bit. Okay. Tell you what. 230 and we have a deal.
230, And if anyone asks you where you got those goggles, you tell them it was general nonsense.
General nonsense. I will do just that.
Done deal then, my friend.
And I will put the 230 on the table.
Kind of like counts it roughly and just slides it into a pouch. And
Well, enjoy your goggles. Enjoy being able to see in the dark. It's a nice thing. I'm sorry you weren't born with it. And enjoy having that potion of healing, because something tells me if you're buying those goggles, you might need it.
Yes. Thank you very much. Rest assured, I will pass your name around.
Much obliged.
And then I will take the potion of healing and goggle, and I will head out and look for anyone of my group that I'm a part of.
all right.
I'm done.
All right. Does anyone else have any more shopping that they would like to do?
I just need some basic information on Gar.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still trying to find a guard.
Right. So, I mean, finding a guard is easy enough. They patrol the city pretty regularly, so that one's not hard for you to find. How would you like to go about trying to find some information?
I'm really just checking out his shop right now. I'll go asking about various personalities later. I'm just trying to see what he sells and if that could be of any use in, an unfortunate accident.
Mm-hmm. Well, go ahead and make an investigation check.
Gotcha. That's a 9.
It is going to happen eventually. So, for the most part, you don't find a lot of specifics on the guy. You find that overall, like, he's not very well liked. He's a very gruff person, and people just less so that he's an asshole or anything, and more so that he's just very commonly rude, and people just kind of aren't super fond of him. He doesn't necessarily his shop that sits just outside of the main square itself is small. It's kind of run down. It looks like at one point he was some kind of a general store, just sold a little bit of everything, but looking at it, the shop itself is very run down. Doesn't look like he gets a lot of patrons these days, and most people seem like when they talk about him, he's either sulking in his store or drinking at a bar.
I've got a lot of just terrible ideas.
Of course you do. Tanith, you go ahead and stop a guard.
Does he have a firearm on him?
He does not. He's just carrying a pike and a shield.
Can I keep looking until I find one that has a gun?
Looking through a good portion of the city, none of them are armed with firearms.
Oh, man. I thought this would be a bit easier. I guess I'm gonna go. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna walk right up to the nearest guard I can see. I'm just gonna ask him. Hello there, sir. Do you know where I can buy a firearm?
He turns to you and he just a little quizzical look on his face. This well-kept human man, looks to be like a little darker skin, just short-cut hair, clean-shaven. Are you? We don't really have a lot of places in the city that sell firearms unregulated. To what purpose, might I ask, you are searching for a firearm?
Study. Honestly.
Study. I mean, there are plenty of places where you could find some books or things on their construction and the chemical reactions that take place to allow them to do their damage if you are just interested in study. Otherwise, most of the firearms in this city are run through the barracks itself, as the rifleman regiment is they're the ones who use the rifles, of course.
Excellent. Could you point me in their direction?
They are currently maintaining vigil on the city, my friend.
You know when they'll be back?
They are one of the current standing regiments of our city. They do not leave, they just patrol, same as the rest of us, only their patrols keep them on the walls.
Ah.
On the walls and near the palace itself.
Are people allowed to go there?
Under certain circumstances, citizens are allowed on the walls.
And that's the only way to get to talk to one of them, I take it.
If you wish to just speak with one of the members of the riflemen, that can certainly be arranged.
It's just that I've seen a comrade of mine, he's used them, and they seem very effective. I'd be interested in studying them more in depth.
Well, I would recommend then that you check the books and look into the chemical reactions present, as, simply speaking to someone who knows how to use one will only get you so far, as it seems you already have access to that anyways.
Good point. Do you know where a good bookstore that would have some?
I don't know one that might have the specific thing, but I would recommend, I would recommend the Athenaeum. It's a small bookstore off in the west end of the square.
Excellent. Thank you very much, kind sir.
Of course.
I'm going to start making my way to the Athenaeum.
Definitely keeps his eyes on you for a moment as you leave. Just
I give out an enthusiastic wave. Practically skipping down the street.
All right. Malcolm, as you are near the square with where you're at, you do eventually see Tanith come through.
Bing.
Without armor.
Without armor, and very visibly happy.
Hey there.
Hey, Tanith. How's it going?
Good. I'm learning about guns.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Learned anything interesting about them?
I learned that I need to read a bookstore in order to find out information.
Book?
It's the Athenaeum.
Books can give you, I'm guessing, some knowledge on firearms.
Yeah, I tried to ask the guards, and then they said the guards on the wall would know, but they said the guards on the wall are always on patrol, and it'd probably be better to go and read a book. I tried to just find out if I could buy one.
I mean, what were you wanting to know?
Well, I see you in battle a lot, and you seem to be able to do a lot of damage to enemies. And Stefano's told me all kinds of tales about firearms and how magical they are. If they're a type of magic, then in theory they can be learned. And if they can be learned, I could learn them. And maybe teach it to some people back home.
I see. Well, from what I know, at least the firearms that I have, they are not magical. They are equipment just like how you carry your sword and shield, which I don't see you carrying right now.
It's getting a thing done.
Okay. But it's basically the equivalent of that. You're familiar with crossbows, I'm guessing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a variation on crossbows, just a bit louder, and it's. Would I know how old firearms are, Ethan?
Yeah, you'd have. You'd have some general knowledge of them.
Okay. And they use a different way of propelling the projectile out into an enemy and a crossbow. It's discovered a while ago.
But it makes such a loud boom, like almost like thunder.
Yeah, that
I mean, I've seen
okay.
magic users use spells similar to that. Only theirs usually were a lot more deafening. But
In my experience and study of my own firearms, that is the reaction of the gunpowder going off.
Tannis just blinks a couple times as he pulls out his book and starts writing notes.
And when we're not in the town, if you want to see a bit of the gunpowder, because obviously messing around with it here in the town would not be a good idea. You just ask.
Thank you, Malcolm.
Of course.
I'm probably still going to check out that bookstore too.
Of course. I'd actually encourage it. There's probably a lot more on the history of the firearms if it's there. The bookstore.
Thank you.
Of course. Now to go see who else I can find of our group.
Do you know where we're meeting up?
I don't. That is why I am trying to find everyone.
How about we meet over at the tree? I point over to the sun tree.
Country?
Yes.
Sounds like a plan.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
See you then.
See ya. And as I'm walking away, I'm just gonna write a little bit extra in my book. Not magic. And then addendum. Make it magic.
All right. And Soraya, if you'd like, wherever, there are quieter spots kind of scattered about the city, but if you'd like somewhere that isn't just like an alleyway or a nook, that would probably be at the tree itself anyways. If that's where you'd like to go sit and read.
I just imagined like sitting under the tree and like scrawling notes in the margins of my book whenever I find something interesting.
Perfect. So yeah, Malcolm, after walking around a little more, you do find Soraya and start to kind of piece together that you will be meeting back here eventually with everybody.
All right.
Edwin, you're on your 5th drink.
Yeah, I don't know if people will be making Constitution saving throws or not at this point, but after I've gotten through my 1 gold, I'm handing her another gold.
All right, so you'll start on your 6th, and you don't have to make Constitution saving throws yet. But once you start trying to do something, we'll be talking. But this is actually a good point here where everyone's kind of fixated on something. Well, we're gonna take 5 minutes so we can grab water, use the bathroom, do that kind of thing.
Cool.
First one back. Actually, I'm gonna go get some water. Hi guys.
Hey.
I am very excited about my new mission. I've already got some very devious plans going on. I'm going to be his first friend. Then I'm going to kill him.
Last.
That's horrible. That's awful.
Oh, you don't even know my plan. Nathan, how mean is my plan?
Well,
If it's any meaner than befriending him and then killing him, yes, it's automatically mean.
Oh, you don't even know how I'm going to do it. Nathan knows.
yeah, I know. It's gonna be interesting, and I think you'll all have a great time.
That doesn't
Oh,
bode
God.
well for my plan.
We're all included in this.
No.
I'm going to get as many of you go. If I go down for this, I'm planting evidence of all of you being.
I am
All I
genuinely
did was go to a-
interested in seeing what the dice decide.
Right?
That's also true.
I
Listen, Stefano lives by 2 rules: succeed at every opportunity and create opportunities for success.
I mean, that's not a bad set of rules.
Even if you have to use loaded dice and cheating at cards.
As you have taught others to do.
Fuck Dennis. At least he knows, like, the truth about guns now.
No, Stefano's got a comeback for that.
Well,
Hey, truth.
I thought, well,
I've
would,
got to hear
does
this.
Stefano have a comeback, or does Tom?
Stefano's not even his
Both of
real
them.
name.
You
I'm
actually
Stefano
don't know
now.
that.
There's actually
can't
2 of
wait.
you now apparently named
Yeah,
Stefano.
Yeah, that's gonna.
I can't wait. I can't wait for Stefano to meet Stefano.
It's gonna make Tom nervous as hell if they go, "Hey, Stefano." What? Oh,
I
him.
can't wait for him to see Tanith without his armor in just his regular clothes.
What is Tanith wearing?
It just said fine set of clothes.
Oh,
So I'm assuming like a well-kept shirt, basic vest, clean trousers.
I'll be
I would-
honest.
hope so.
If he doesn't hear your voice, he might think you're just a rich person and then swindle you.
So if he
That's
doesn't
not
hear
alright.
your voice, he might do the same thing he has been doing.
Yeah.
Fair.
He's-
Except
I-
quicker.
I just think he's gonna assume I got robbed and
Yeah.
shook down by
There's never
someone.
Yeah, that's also
He
fair.
got caught cheating at cards, and they stole all his shit.
All right, so we pick right on back up here with so Edwin is drinking. Malcolm, you are I'm assuming just hanging out by the tree, or is there somewhere you'd like to go?
I guess I would let Rhea know, because I know she's the one really nearby me that is reading, unless she's moved on somewhere else.
No, I stayed.
Okay. I would be going to look for a tavern, just to kind of start seeing if there's any local gossip on stuff.
All right. Well, I mean, there's two that you know of. There's the Journey's End and the Hooded Boar.
Okay. I'll would I know which would be better for like finding out if there are any potential jobs to pick up? Like not necessarily like not like Stefano's jobs out of game, but like let's say, for example, a wolf is terrorizing my cattle. Help me, sort of stuff.
I mean, you know that the Journey's End is a nicer bar, so like, there's gonna be more honest folk there, but it's also a little bit more expensive, a little more. So it's gonna be kind of like the toss up of you're gonna get different kinds of people at each.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll make my way to the Journey's End first.
All right. So you head on back over towards where the temple was, and you see Edwin, crushing his 7th drink now, seated at the bar. As you come in,
I'll go to Edwin. You okay?
Fine.
All right. I don't know who else, if anyone else will be coming to this tavern, as everyone is kind of spread out. But I can leave you alone if you like.
You can do whatever you please.
All right. I'll sit. Are you sitting like at the bar or at
I'm just sitting at the bar.
Okay. I'll sit like a couple seats down from Edwin,
all right.
and I'll go ahead and order a drink. Nothing too strong though, but just a drink, and then I'll start listening around, seeing if there's any chatter that catches my ear.
Well, for the most part, this is a quieter inn. There's not a lot of people just in the same kind of abundant chatter that a lot of inns have. You see a male dwarf just sitting at one of the tables. He's got just like a sling on his torso that just has like a couple different vials in it, and you see him sitting there kind of like playing with his hands and like thinking aloud kind of as he's just muttering to himself with a drink and a kind of half-eaten plate in front of him. You see a small halfling man sitting down talking to a male elf that are both just discussing some business things, it seems, at the table. You hear a lot of like numbers talk from the two of them. And then you see over just at one of the tables is just a female elf who's sitting there in just not very fancy clothes, just seated having a meal by herself. Not really talking to anybody or doing anything unusual, just quietly eating.
I will get the attention of the barkeep.
Yeah, the female dwarf comes over to you. Oh, just need another drink or something?
Most likely, but I was wondering, have you heard any, or do you know of anybody who might need help solving any issues around here?
Oh, well, I mean, if you're just looking for... Well, depends on what you mean by issues. There's a lot of small things that people could certainly use help with. But if you're looking for something like good... well, I assume you're looking for something that pays well, yeah?
Ideally, yeah.
Well, that's where we might find some trouble. A lot of the stuff around here just gets taken care of by the guard. So, I mean, you definitely have a good bet talking to them if you're looking to help out with that kind of thing, although I can't guarantee they'll pay you. Otherwise, you'll probably want to look beyond the city walls. those are the kind of people who might be in need of help and willing to pay for it, because a lot of their day-to-day dealings are not taken care of by the guard, as they're not within city limits.
Well, thank you kindly for that info, and I will, whatever I'm paying for the drink, I will put an additional gold down.
All right. Well, for a not too strong drink, and did you want any food with it or just a drink?
Just a drink for now.
All right. So it's only, it's a silver.
Okay. I'll just round up to a whole gold.
All right. Just takes from. Thank you very much. Is there anything else I can get for you before you shove off?
No, that was it. Thank you kindly.
Of course. Just goes back to her duties at the bar.
Yeah, and I'll finish the drink. Nod to Edwin and let him know that we're meeting back at the Sun Tree. Or if I don't see him there, we'll come back here. And then I'll head off to go see what I can find.
All right.
So you can go to
I'm curious about how much of that Edwin actually retains.
I mean, I'm staying here. Doesn't matter.
There's going to be 2 people missing from this gathering. It's going to be Edwin and Stefano.
So, Tanith, you head over to the bookstore, and
Yes.
you head on inside to... You just see one other person in there browsing the books. The elderly gnome gentleman still just sitting in his chair behind the counter, thumbing through the book as you come in.
Excuse me.
Oh, hello. What can I help you with?
I was looking to see if I could find a few books you might have.
Well, certainly. I mean, feel free to just browse as you like, or I can try and help you find something if there's something specific.
I have 3 things I was looking for.
Okay.
One, I was recommended to check out this place because I heard that it might have some books on firearms.
Oh, maybe. We can certainly take a look and see what we can find.
The other would be, I was wondering if you had a section on magic, preferably human magic.
Oh, we have some documentations of histories of magic and that and the like, if you're interested in that kind of study. I don't really have anything in the means of, like, spell books.
No. I'd be fascinated to learn the history of magics.
Sure. Let me just,
And he, like, shuffles on over and grabs first book out. You see it's kind of this dark blue binding, and he hands it to you, and it's just the history of magic. He kind of thumbs through a bit longer, and you see him pull out a couple books, flip open the pages, and put it back on the shelf. Just no. He eventually pulls one out and he hands it to you. It's a thinner bound tome, not too hefty in itself. Just
that is going to be, I think, the only things I have about firearms, and it's going to be kind of in the same way where it's more of a history than an actual detailed, like, analysis of the gun itself.
I thumbed through it real quickly to see if might be any illustrations.
Oh, I mean, there is drawings of weapons in there, like especially to illustrate how weapons evolved over the last few hundred years.
This'll do. And I'm looking for a little bit of something to read on my spare time. Do you have anything of fantasy or poetry?
Oh, I have plenty of both. Feel free to just, it's going to be most of what's on that shelf there, and he points you towards one closer to the window. Just, feel free to just take a look, read a little bit of some of them, and figure out whichever one tickles your fancy, and I can recommend pretty much everything there. I've read them all.
I'm going to walk over and try to browse some of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Look for any that, have to do with Tal'Dore's history.
Yeah, you can find books that are kind of like romanticized retellings of the founding and all the like, more kind of turned into an epic tale and spun a little bit gratuitously, but they at one point they were founded, in fact.
I'm just gonna pick one, just like at random.
Sure. You pull out a book that's just, it's like poetry and prose of just some varying scholars from, it looks like, judging by the date, it was about 140 years ago that the book was written.
Perfect. And I think this will do.
Oh, perfect. That's gonna run just for. I take it. Do you want to purchase these 3?
Of course, yes.
That's gonna run you. We'll do 7 gold for the 3.
Sounds wonderful.
Well, thank you very much. I do hope you enjoy those.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna just start reading the poetry book.
For sure. All right. And are you gonna head back to the tree, or?
Yeah, I'm gonna just start making my way over to the tree.
All right, Stefano, what would you like to do?
Just realized I was muted. All right. I am. What's the nearest? I'm gonna go to the journey's end.
Okay, that one is a bit farther out, but you head on over.
I'm gonna walk inside.
All right, you see, the same 4 people, the halfling and the elf just kind of sitting debating, the female elf and the dwarf off doing their thing, Edwin sitting at the bar.
All right, so I'm gonna. Hello there, Edwin. You all right?
I'm fine.
Make a Constitution check.
It begins.
That's not bad. You just want to check, or do you want saving throw?
Just a check.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's a 14.
Yeah, you kind of like burp a little when you say it, but yeah.
Good lad. I'm gonna slap him on the shoulder. I'm gonna wave over the bartender.
Yeah, she walks on over. Oh, hello there. What can I get for you?
Well, love, I'd like a bottle of your strongest alcohol. Doesn't matter what kind.
Well, I've strongest is probably going to be the house whiskey. It's going to run you for a glass. It's 3 silver.
I didn't say glass, love. I said bottle.
You want the whole bottle? It's going to run you about. We'll do 4 gold for a bottle.
I'm gonna look at Edwin and look back at her and go, "I'll take 3," and put down 12 gold.
All right, so give me just a moment. And she heads on into the back, and she comes out with 3 of these semicircular round bottles that are all corked at the top and sets them there.
Gotcha.
Well, it's I can't say it's the strongest thing I've ever drank, but it'll do in a pinch.
All right. And now, do you have glasses?
I've got plenty of glasses.
I need to buy.
Oh, I mean, we've got extra. If you're just looking for like 1 or 2, I could probably sell them to you.
I lost my drinking glasses on the road, so I'm looking to buy some more.
Well, if you just...
Is 4 fine?
4 cups? I think we could probably swing it. If nothing else, I'll just have to charge you how much we buy them for.
That's fine, love.
So it's just gonna run. It's a silver for a cup. So just 4 silver, and I can get you 4.
That's perfectly fine, love. I'm gonna give her the 4 silver.
Yeah, she reaches under the counter and pulls out 4 that are like the cleaner cups and hands them to you. It's like stacks them up, and
there you go. I can't say they're not used, but they're clean.
Thank you so much, love. And one more thing. Let's say I've been having a terrible week, and I'm gonna look over at Edwin. I just want to forget that the week ever happened. What would you suggest?
Well, for most people, I'd probably suggest a drink. If you're looking for something stronger, I'd suggest a few drinks. And if you're looking to really kind of spend the night, I'd often suggest going to the brothel.
No, love, I mean, what kind of drink would you suggest?
Oh, you're looking for that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, depending on how much you want to forget, I often just go straight from the bottle.
From this house whiskey, then.
Oh, I've definitely done that a few times. Not gonna lie.
All right, love. Thank you so much.
Ah, pleasure. Do come back now.
Of course. I'm going to slap Edwin on the shoulder again and head out.
All right.
So, let me just double check. I have a few things. Yeah, I've got rope. Okay. So I'm going to head back to Gar's shop.
All right.
Passing by the tree as I do so.
Yeah, so I mean, you guys sitting there, you do see... Well, I take it you're not being stealthy at all.
I'm not. I'm kind of like looking like I'm stumbling around drunk.
Right.
I do have an open wineskin in my hand.
Yeah, so he is right in your vision. Tanith, Malcolm, Soraya, as you see Tom Stefano kind of stumble across the square and start going down the southern street.
I don't have a good feeling about that.
Look for my book. About what?
Are we both reading?
Yep. You're both just sitting by the tree reading a book.
Isn't that
Nice
sweet?
spot.
Because, yeah, whatever. If he gets arrested, it's his own fault.
He won't get arrested. He hasn't done anything wrong.
Yet. He hasn't done anything wrong yet.
What are you reading?
I kind of hold up the half journal. I'm doing some research on curses.
Interesting. Casting or learning?
Breaking. Maybe.
Risky.
Anyway, what are you reading?
Well, Stefano says that guns are magic, and Malcolm says they aren't. And I'm trying to figure out which.
I would trust the person that owns the gun.
I have 2 books open on each one of my. As I'm sitting cross-legged. One's the firearms, and the other's the history of magic.
Yeah, one of those people has a gun. The other one does not.
Trust the one who doesn't.
But it got me thinking. If guns aren't magic, then maybe they should be.
Why? Why?
Well, magic makes everything better.
I don't know about that. Magic can cause you a lot of problems.
No, it can't. Give him just like
I'll look him dead in the eye.
magic causing problems. Go back to reading.
I'm just gonna stare at his side of his head for a little while. I reluctantly go back to reading about curses, I guess. Have I found anything?
Make an investigation check.
Ooh. 12.
12. In looking through it, just you find some very general things about how a lot of curses are in many ways linked to ritual castings. There are very few that are cast in simple means, as they are meant to be long-lasting, if not permanent. and in many cases are very hard to break without something tied to whatever the original cast was, as often in its original cast is tied the stuff needed to break it as well.
I'm gonna chew on my necklace while I read, because it's making me nervous. Oh, is Malcolm at the tree too?
Technically, Malcolm's walking around looking if he can find any odd jobs to help.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Malcolm's off wandering for now.
Okay. We'll save this question for later then.
All right. So, Stefano, you round the corner and see the rundown shop.
I'm going to enter and kind of like stumble inside.
For a moment, I mean, in the semi-dark interior of this place, you do see, for a moment, you don't see anybody, and then you just see kind of like leaned up against the bar, like just kind of thumbing through some pieces of paper that are on the counter. With you see a large tankard that is mostly empty beside him. Gar kind of like looks up at you with, you see like one good eye and one that's kind of like always in a squint as he's looking at you. Just,
oh, this is too easy.
What do you want?
I heard this was a shop, yeah?
It was.
What do you sell here?
Nothing anymore.
Ah. Ah, stinks. What are you drinking?
Just some of the ale I keep in the back.
You got room for one more if I brought my own. I'm gonna hold up the wineskin.
Sure.
kind of like slides the parchment to the side and leans, so he's leaning forward onto the bar and just kind of gestures to a little bit of open space on it next to him now.
I'm gonna lean up. My name's Barry.
Barry?
Yeah.
You're not from around here, are you?
No. I'm from the south.
Well, fuck, why'd you come here?
I like to travel, see new places, drink new alcohol.
It's not a bad choice.
As he picks up his tankard and kind of drains the last quarter of it.
I'm gonna make a big show of like looking at him drain it. You look like a man who could handle his alcohol.
I've had enough of it. I think I can.
Tell you what. I'm gonna put this stuff away. And then I'm gonna pull out a bottle of the house whiskey. Why don't we play a game? Just whoever drinks. Yeah?
Now I see why you came in here.
I heard you're a good drinker.
What's the
Alright.
stakes?
I don't know. What do you want to bet?
Well, I'm after probably money. You got money?
I got some money. I'm looking for friends.
You got a weird way of showing that.
Hi, I'm offering you alcohol and money. Isn't that the way to friends?
It is in my book. Pour it up. Let's talk.
So I'm gonna go ahead and fill his tankard as high as it can go.
All right. Yeah, that does mostly empty that bottle. It's a pretty big tankard.
Perfect. And I'm gonna pull out one of my own cups, finish off what's left in the bottle, and pour it up. Cheers.
Cheers.
Like smacks it against yours, so a little bit of the liquid kind of spills out onto the counter, and he downs a pretty good drink.
I'm just definitely not trying to get drunk. I'm trying to stay as sober as possible here.
All right.
But I'm gonna make a big show of like I'm trying to chug it, but can't quite do it as well as him.
Make a performance check.
Can I make a deception check?
No, make a performance on this one.
Ooh, that's a heathen's 20.
All right, yeah. You know, you're making a pretty convincing show that you're drinking.
Well, shit, you're a good drinker.
Like I said, I've done it enough.
That's
You get
good.
a lot of reason to drink.
Ah, like what, friend?
I looked at fucking around you. Look at this shop. I used to have things here. All the competition and all the bullshit in this town. Now I got nothing. Soon I'll have to sell this place even. Can't afford to keep it.
That's pretty shitty, friend. How much you gonna sell it for?
I'll figure that out when it's time.
That's a good point. You're smart.
Not smart enough, apparently. What about you, friend? How'd you get here?
I walked from town to town. I'm good at walking.
You some fucking noble or something? How do you have money for that?
I borrow money.
That's a dangerous game.
True, but if I keep moving, they can't find me. See?
You know, something tells me I don't want to be too close to you for too long.
Why is that, friend?
Because I feel like someone's coming after you if you owe them money. And I don't want to be in that.
It's fine. See, I haven't borrowed money in this town yet. I'm gonna finish off this bottle, filling up his tankard.
Well,
I figure I'm gonna stay here for one more day and then move on.
that's probably for the best. There's not a lot for you if you just have to drink it in fun here.
That's what I've seen. This place is pretty boring.
That keeps to itself. Got a lot of churches and temples and nothing I care about.
How drunk is he?
I mean, make a perception check.
That is a 10.
I mean, he's certainly visibly not sober.
Gotcha.
It's hard to tell how far along on the scale he is past that.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I saw that. I'm not much of a religious type, to be honest.
Yeah? In the wrong town, then. That's all this town is religion anymore.
No time for fun, is what I've seen. Religion.
You fucking right? No fun here.
It's
That's
just-
all.
And the fun is so you have to do it this way.
You know, you're starting to see eye to eye with me. You see,
Yes.
this is why we're in this situation, because no one liked my shit.
What'd you sell, friend? And I'm gonna tap his tankard as if a little subliminal reminder it's full.
He draws his attention and he does take another drink and
Well, I was like a general store, kind of, but I sold more specialty stuff, and kind of just became the people didn't want specialty shit anymore, or you had shops that just did it better than me.
What kind of specialty stuff? And I'm gonna fill up his tankard again.
Well, I'd sell,
you see him look around, even though there's no windows aside from the small one at the front, and it's just the two of you in here. So he looks around very just widely before he turns back to you.
I'd fence shit for people, and I'd sell it back to others.
That's a good profession to have.
I mean, it certainly made money, but now the gods crack down too much, and the thiefs don't like me anymore, and
Fuck the guards and fuck the thieves.
I agree. Fuck the thieves. And he
I'm gonna
takes a long drink.
top it off with the thing of house whiskey.
You see, I mean, every time he picks it up at this point, he is kind of like spilling the drink.
Good. I heard I'm not much of a fence myself, but I heard it's dangerous.
I mean, it can be if you sell into the wrong people. Because sometimes someone buys something, and then when you try to just do something with it, then the money's bad.
No, that's bad, friend. But
It can be. You can make good money.
I bet. But did you have a way to protect yourself? I've seen
I know how to
people with
protect
guns.
myself.
Do you have a gun?
No, I don't have a gun. Actually, I can protect myself just fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's cool.
At least, I mean, to be honest, I really haven't had to that much. Because when people sell you stuff, you know things, and when you know things, no one wants to be mad at you. Because then you'll tell somebody that you know things, and then you win. That's how I got people.
Seems like knowing things got you in a good position.
It did. But now it's not anymore, apparently.
I'm gonna top off his drink.
Kind of like he looks at it, and you can see there's the head's heavy, and it's kind of leaning towards the drink a little, and just,
why did you get so much of this?
and he takes another drink.
Because this is the best alcohol here, and I'm gonna do another little pretend swig.
You don't even need to make a check at this point.
Is he blackout drunk at this point?
If he's not, he's very close.
Gotcha.
He's pretty gone.
Excellent. I really wish he had a gun. This would make things easier. That's fine.
So, I mean, it's just the way it is, You do your business, you finish your business. I was thinking of just selling the place and leaving. Maybe I could set up being a fence somewhere else, like a small town. Not as good money, but people would maybe people would appreciate what I do.
Right. You provide a valuable service to people.
Right, I mean, it's for a little bit between you and me. Right. I even did a few deals with the clasp.
The clasp?
Kind of spits on your face as he says the clasp.
I'm going to pretend like I don't even notice it. Inside, I'm fuming.
It was more selling them things. I mean, I guess they probably know how to get rid of what they got, but they would buy things from me if I had the right stuff.
Wow, friend. That's some dangerous work. I don't even mess with the clasp. I don't think. Unless...
That's smart, because the clasp are very tricky.
That's what I've heard, friend. And I'm gonna top off his drink again and take clink, fake sip.
Yeah, he cheers as you and I mean it's as much going out of his mouth and down his shirt as it is drinking at this point.
I'm just waiting for him to collapse. I know it's soon too.
Yeah, I mean he just he sets it down and he leans really heavily on the bar, just
people just don't like me here anymore.
Nah, friends, don't say that. But
You're the first person who's been here in days. And the last person wanted me to buy something.
That's not very nice.
Fucking alright.
People are mean. Topping off his drink.
They certainly can be. As he takes another drink.
Friend, what if you wrote down why you're sad? Like, I've heard that helps. Just, like, write down, like, I don't know, all the things that are sad. And then it's like, oh, it's not with me anymore. It's on the paper.
He, like kind of tries to reach under the counter and ends up just falling flat on his, like, chest. And, like, pushes himself up, and he's... like, grabs a pot of ink and a quill and, like, parchment, and he kind of, like, throws it on the counter, and the ink spills a good bit. There's... I don't think I could write right now, mate.
It's okay, friend. I'll help. Okay? I'm going to keep his hands steady.
Okay, and he just kind of, like, starts... At first, you think he's writing something, and then he ends up... It's kind of like he's just putting lines on the page.
Gotcha. I'm nodding along. Okay, that's good, friend. That's good.
Yeah.
Friend, if... Is he drunk enough to... Like, how...
At this point, as you're, like, holding on to his hand, you feel the weight against you kind of increase, and he passes out, like, leaning into you.
All right, so I'm going to... Are there any rafters nearby?
Rafters?
Yeah.
I mean, there's, like... There is the kind of structural stuff of the place itself, but there isn't, like...
So we all know where I'm going with this.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to tie the noose. Put it around his neck. And I'm going to hang him from the ceiling.
All right. Make a strength check. As he does way more than you do.
Rakdos, guide me. Rakdos has given. That is a heathen's 20.
All right, yeah, you get him over the thing, and turning, so you got the rope over your shoulder. You kind of start stepping away, and his body lifts from the floor, like kind of tilting upward, and then the feet leave, and it just starts swinging. And looking back at him, there's not even a like struggling as he's stone cold out. There's just this.
Is there anything sturdy nearby that I could tie this to so I don't have to hold it?
You could get it around one of the. I mean, you could try to put it around like a shelf or something.
I'm gonna do that.
All right. Go ahead and make a. Just make a sleight of hand.
Rakdos? Got it. All right, Rakdos, you're kind of slipping up a little bit. That is a 16.
16, yeah. You get it around, and you can tie it without losing so much slack that it is no longer useful.
Excellent. And now I'm going to lean on the bar and wait.
Wait for
him to die.
All right.
I gotta be sure.
A couple minutes pass, and that the sound just stops.
Well, after the sound stops, I'm going to wait a few more minutes, see if there's anything.
Nope.
All right, I'm going to get down to work and use my thieves kit. I assume that comes with like a cloth or something that I can use to rub away my fingerprints.
you could certainly try.
Yeah, so I'm going to rub my fingerprints away from the whiskey bottle. Definitely put them in his hands.
All right. Well, I mean, you try to put them in his hands, and they end up just kind of falling out and breaking beneath him on the floor.
No. What I'm doing is I'm holding it, but I'm putting his fingerprints on him.
Ah, I see. Gotcha.
Yeah, so if anybody looks at it, it's like, oh, he clearly held all these bottles himself.
All right.
Oh, no. And I got him blackout drunk enough so that if they try to do a divination spell, all he kind of remembers is a person named Barry coming into his bar.
Fucking Barry. All right.
And then after I'm satisfied that all has been cleaned, I'm going to go to the Hooded Boar.
All right. You go ahead and head on out. And as you exit into the street, like it is starting to get into the evening, you walk on back out past, and Tanith and Soraya, you see him walk out much less drunk this time, walking with a stride and a spring in his step.
I elbow Tanith in the side. I told you that was not good. Whatever just happened. He looks too happy. That is suspicious. He probably swindled some poor farmer out of his entire purse. That's mean.
Oh yeah, that's what I did.
I'm like the youngest person in this group. I don't know any better. I think I'm the youngest, at least.
I think so, yeah.
I'm gonna look over to Stefano Tom. Does he look like he's unusually like cheery?
I mean, he looks less like he's not as visibly trying to look drunk, but I mean, he doesn't look like he's not like skipping down the sidewalk or anything.
I mean, he's been acting like a weirdo since we left the town.
That's also true.
It's too weird. Don't you think? This is a little out there even for him.
Maybe he found out whoever was after him isn't after him anymore.
That could be true. I don't know.
I've been reading this history of magic book for a while. Does it have anything on like just individual schools of magic and types of magic?
Yeah, it has a little bit about each of their histories.
I'm just gonna keep reading up on it. And the firearms. Do I have a generally good idea of how like the basic mechanics of firearms work?
You know it from an academic perspective of the like when you pull the trigger, you know, the pin hits and strikes and causes the explosion that fires off the bullet from inside the barrel. Like, you know that it's a strike that causes an explosion within a barrel that sends a bullet. And then you know how that kind of like evolved from Percival's initial iterations 500 years ago to several things down the line.
Does it mention him?
He is mentioned in the beginning, just when it's talking about who created firearms.
This person sounds amazing, by the way. I say, pointing to the book.
I look over his shoulder. Why is his name so long?
I thought that was just a human thing.
Is it? You think Malcolm's name is that long? Or Edwin?
I've never asked.
We should ask them.
What I wouldn't give to have been as inventive as him. Just say, reading some. I think I could see some improvements though. Definitely. Anyway, do you know where the others are?
I thought we were supposed to meet here.
Hey, Stefano.
Stefano yells to Stefano.
So you get up and you're gonna start going after him?
I give a wave to him to try and get his attention.
I hear the word Stefano and I ignore it. Especially when I recognize it's Tanith's voice, because he knows me as Tom in this persona.
Must not have heard me.
I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna dust myself off and I'm gonna start following the cat.
All right. And while you guys, or Tanith, are you gonna stay or follow as well?
I'll follow.
All right, Malcolm, where would you like to look for your jobs?
So he had mentioned outside of the city walls,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gathering that even the workers or people who live outside the city walls do come in to shoot the shit, chat,
Yeah,
have drinks.
likely.
So I'm just kind of gathering, because I've been to Whitestone, but I haven't been here long, so I don't know a lot outside of just like the names of the bars and the Raven Queen Temple.
Mm-hmm.
But just trying to see like where they're going, where they would talk, and then so it's not as like, oh hey, you got work, or just like I can shoot this shit back with them and then
Right, try to just find where all the farmers are.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, for the most part, they do head towards the Hooded Boar, as it is the cheaper inn located near the front of the city itself.
Then I will have gone there.
All right. So, yeah, I mean, you'll be there probably a good hour before the rest of these people arrive. So you have, an hour where you're just kind of talking up various farmers, passing a drink or two around, having a drink yourself. And you catch that, for the most part, the area is decently safe. The stuff that's in the forest tends to stay in the forest, especially because there are a lot of wolves in this area that do rarely attack livestock, but they tend to be almost like a barrier in a way, as other animals don't want to go near them. So they end up being kind of this both dangerous and safety net for the farmers themselves. But there's a lot of tall tales from the farmers. You hear them talk of like things in the night that are not human, that are doing X and Y, and all these very bombastic and over-embellished tales from slightly drunken, hard-working farmers but you do notice that there tends to be correlations in them. Like, in varying states of drunkenness, they do tend to stick to some facts that are the same all throughout. Which, on those, it's just mentions of various, like, while the type has varied greatly, they've all been undead. And you have heard a lot of things of people, they're like, no one ever gives a name, but they've said people have gone missing. They've talked about how certain livestock have been found mauled while not, like, they haven't been skinned, they haven't been taken, they didn't even look like they've really been eaten, they were just mauled. And you kind of get facts like that you kind of start piecing together that might end up to something.
Okay. No idea initially just from that what that may be.
No, just okay. It's two little facts that are all a little too generic.
Mm-hmm.
But you're kind of like, it definitely rings a bell as the like, this sounds like it's more than just them making up a story, because all this is lining up with stuff you have seen before.
Okay.
And, about an hour of you kind of chatting up farmers and hearing similar stories over and over, and finding out that unless you just want to be a farmhand, there isn't really a lot of work around here.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Stefano, Tom, comes in, followed a couple minutes later by Tanith and Soraya.
Hello there, friend.
Hello, Tom.
How you doing?
Oh, doing all right. Just having a little bit of a drink here and chatting here and there. And what's been up with you?
I've just been having a pretty good day, that.
I can see that. You seem chipper.
Tell you what, I'm gonna go get us some more drinks. I'll be right back, yeah?
Sounds good.
I'm gonna go up to the bar, and I'm gonna kind of like casually turn my head to the side to make sure none of the party members are there.
At the bar? Yeah, it's just you for the moment.
18.
Hey. Nice.
I'll take 2 shots sideways.
You got it. Just go and check in the back.
Fantastic. I'm gonna walk into the back.
Hey, head on back down the same stairs you were, and the area has the lower bar has less people than before, and a good amount of different faces. Not all the same people, except Lyra is now seated at one of the tables with a large swath of papers in front of her. You see her with a quill and ink, making a bunch of notes on some, kind of crossing out things, doing a bunch of numbers. There's a small, abacus sitting on the table. She slides occasionally.
I'm gonna slide in the seat across from her. You could have given me something a little bit more difficult.
See, I could have, but, well, first of all, I had to make sure that you could even do this one.
You insulted me. You hurt me. You warned me.
I could do that if you'd like.
Maybe a bit later. But, he was out drinking, and then, the pitifulness of his life just overtook him, and it's unfortunate when someone just takes their own life.
Sometimes it happens. The weight of life can be heavy.
Especially such a sad and pitiful one, where you spend it the whole time alone.
She just she just kind of looks at you.
Yes?
Nothing. I have the documentation of your payment, and I can get repaid, so I can, as the agreement states, for those indoctrinated, I'll pay you from our funds and receive the rest of the payment for us in return. So here's your, I believe it is, she checks the paper and flips through a couple. Yeah, that's 200 gold for your pocket. And she throws it across the table.
He's going to catch it, look inside, put it in his pack. It's a pleasure doing business for you. I think I'm going to be here tonight, do a sleep. You'll find a way. Just let me know if you need anything else.
Oh, well, there's actually one thing. Do you know, by chance... what was her name? I got a, well, we've started to see a few things pop up. This new merchant in the town. Her name is, Vanessa Renkarsh.
You want me to,
Well, I'm just curious if it's a name you've heard before.
I'm going to throw, what'd there be?
That's general intelligence, if you're just looking to see if you remember it.
That's a 9.
No, it's not a name you've heard before.
No, that name, it doesn't ring any bells. You want me to check out and see who it is?
No, I've got people who I think are, I've got people who I think are going to be a little bit better at that, as you have your specialty and they have theirs.
That's fair enough. I'm not so good at the information gathering. I just, I'm a problem solver.
Well, just keep an eye out for the name, and if you catch anything, send it my way, because I'm trying to gather... Well, I'm trying to figure out what this new trader is up to.
What was the name again?
Vanessa Renkarsh.
Vanessa Renkarsh. I'll keep my ears out. I'll let you know. Is there a way that I can switch on my disguise? Is there a place down here?
So just go take a room. We've got a couple down here for... You know where they are. Just filled with bunks. Just go do as you will.
Yeah, so I'm going to go into a room, get all the powder off of me, kind of groom myself a little bit, and then cover myself in... cover my ears in white powder and have black circles just randomly around my body.
All right.
Black powder. Get ready, guys. And I'm going to go back upstairs.
She just, as you walk out, you see, Lyra kind of just looks up at you with, a cocked eyebrow and just keeps going. And yeah, you now see, black-eared, white-spotted fur Stefano come back in. Which, Edwin, do you just want to keep drinking, or is there something you'd like to do?
Nope, I am just drinking away.
All right.
That's all I can do at the moment.
While he was switching his disguises and shit, can I tap Malcolm and ask him how many names he had?
Yeah.
Tanith is also there, just leaning forward, curious.
All right. Hold on a sec. I need something. I'm gonna do something
Oh no.
because I can. Gotta pull it up real quick.
I hope it's not what I think it is.
why are you asking how many names I have? Or are you just asking the general length of my name, or?
Well, we were reading this book, and one of the humans mentioned seemed to have a very long name. I wasn't sure if it was just a human thing or not.
Well, I mean it.
I point to the Percy's name.
Percy, and I see the glory of Percival.
Percival von Musel.
Percival
Percival
Frederickstein von Musel Kowalski de Rollo III of Whitestone.
There we go.
There you go.
So I was
He's
going to
my
ask about
favorite.
that. Did Tanith realize that it said of Whitestone in there?
It didn't. It did not say of Whitestone. It just
Okay.
said it. Just, in fact, for the most part, it just addressed him as Lord Percival.
Got it. Well, I mean, the name I usually go by is Malcolm. My last name's Roman Zoll. I have heard mostly people of royalty have longer names. Such as one in my travels was a duke.
How many names did he
And his
have?
name was quite several, actually. I don't remember all of it, but I think he had around 5 names, and that was before the 4th in his name.
That's so silly.
Why do you need that many names? Why do you need
It
to
was
name that many people the same set of names 4 times?
to show importance, I guess.
Isn't there a word in common for important person? They could just name themselves that.
Oh yeah, that would be Duke, but or whatever royalty they come from. Lord, Duke, King.
Yeah, Lord Duke King.
I'm just gonna roll a dice and see if it lands above a 10, and if it does, I'm going to say the full name of the Duke.
Do it.
It's an 11.
Oh god.
All right. Oh yeah, yes, I remember his name now. Name was Duke Alexander Conchabar von Commodus Gianfrancescus Faustus de Valterra IV.
That is obnoxious.
It was hearing people trying to address him by his full name when he didn't want to correct them on it.
I'm gonna take a seat next to Malcolm. I'm gonna look to him. Can I see your guns?
Here in the pub.
Yeah.
You know, people might not like that around us. It is a firearm.
This is a really uptight city. Oh well. I'm just gonna keep reading the books I have.
All right.
I think I have the basics idea down. I think I have an idea or two of how to improve it. But I'm not quite sure about the actual dimensions of what I'm trying to do. Do they make firearms that have 2 hands? I vaguely might. I know there are crossbows then you need 2 hands in order to operate. Do they have firearm versions of that?
I'm guessing Malcolm would know the answer to that, Nathan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Yes. They make much longer barreled firearms that you do have to use 2 hands to hold to be stable.
That sounds pretty perfect. If
They
you
do
will
have-
mind, I'd like to examine your firearms later.
Certainly.
I pull out a notebook and I just start sketching what looks to be a rifle designed for someone who's never seen a rifle before. So some of the proportions are clearly off.
Like a really long barrel.
Like a overly large. And just a painstaking amount of filigree on the wood.
Of course.
It looks more like a crossbow that has a barrel shoved on top of it. It even has the 2 arms.
Oh man.
Yes, that will not be a problem for you to look at one of my firearms later.
Thank you. And I guess I'm going to glance over as a now newly disguised cat person.
Yeah, you see Stefano head on over.
Is he the only tabaxi like before and now in the tavern?
Yep. I think you're muted.
You muted.
I've got to disguise myself somehow. I'm the only tabaxi around here. I'm trying to make it seem like there's hundreds. It's weird. We've seen about 10 different tabaxi, but they're never in the same room at
There's
the same
dozens of us. Dozens.
time. I'll show you. Walks out, walks back in as another one. So I'm going to stop by Tayan, who I assume has just seen this all before.
Yep. Oh yeah, he doesn't even bat an eye. He just keeps about his work.
I just look at you before I go back to my books and my sketch.
I'm going to order around for the table and then head over.
Hey, he puts out a few tankards of ale.
I'm going to pick him up. Hello, I am Goshka. May I sit here and drink?
I'm going to just stop what I'm doing and slowly turn to look at him.
I can't look at him. I'm gonna turn in my chair and try to conceal my laughter.
Is there a problem? Hey guys, it's me, Stefano.
Really?
Perfect.
Oh my
No,
goodness,
it's
I
good.
never would have guessed.
It's good. It's good. I'm gonna sit right next to Soraya.
Oh god.
I was wondering if you could help me out with something.
I am known to help. I'm gonna give each person the corresponding ale.
Oh, Moonweaver,
Thank you.
help me.
Goshka.
Yes, that is me.
Where did you hear that firearms were magic?
What? I've never heard that. Are firearms magic? I've never held gun. Too loud for me.
I'm just staring right at him.
Oh my.
So, where did you hear that firearms were magic?
Now listen, my friend, I never said they were a magic. I said they were a like magic.
Ah. Right. That does explain a bit. Going
But
back
don't
to
you don't you worry. When we get out, we can talk more. But for now, how are you doing, drinking friends?
I'm learning more about magic.
Oh, good. Magic is good thing. It benefit in so many ways.
Like, I'm learning about magics that our people don't even know about. I'm surprised they don't know about it more.
That is good. Always grow mind. That is where you succeed.
Like this section here, point to a section that mentions artificers.
Yes, is good section.
Most of the magic we have comes from the study of the Arcart's original teachings, but this school seems to be about creating its own form of magic. And I'm just going to be droning on and on about this for about 10 minutes. Very almost school-like lecture.
I'm gonna roll a religion check to see if I know who the Arcart is.
Go for it.
Oh, I guess I do. That's a 18.
You don't know details, but you definitely know the name, and you know that it is an elven deity.
Gotcha. I'm drinking.
Kenneth is drinking too, and his explanation is getting a little more and more sloppy and a little wonkier the more ale he starts drinking.
Is okay, friend. I understand, and I'm just gonna like hold his lips shut.
See, it's like a crossbow, but it's still going.
So where is other friend? Judgy human.
You mean the one that you don't know about?
Yes,
Goshka?
yes. You seem like you travel with Judgy human.
I had my books like up, like so the spines were like upright on the table. I take one of them and pull it down. It just has Edwin. It's just perfect height to conceal Edwin's head.
Oh, he's not there.
No, he isn't.
No,
Right.
he's in a different tavern.
He's still. I don't know then.
Not the
We're in
tavern
like
we were
we're in
going
like the Hotel 6, and he's in like the Hilton right now.
No, we're in worse. We're in a motel. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna look to the others. Do any of you know?
Yes, he's over at the. I saw him over at the Journey's End, actually.
Ah. Good.
I'm curious to see if he's still there, though.
The Journey's End is good place. People don't usually go missing from there.
What I meant is he seemed to be making friends with the bottom of a bottle.
Oh, then he may make some different friends, but that's okay. We are here to talk about other matters. So, what is new plan? What is good?
Oh, I might be here for about 2 weeks or so.
Ah,
I have some work being done on my shield, and I have a bit of a job getting done on my armor. See, I was talking to. I look over to where Stefano / Tom / new Russian alley cat.
Koska.
Koska. Tom was. I had a conversation with Tom, and it got me thinking that maybe I should change the way I dress so that some people who might be looking for me don't find me as easy.
Yes, if you're hiding from someone, which Koska isn't, then you definitely. It's good to change outfit every now and then.
So I'm getting my armor dyed.
Ah, that is certainly idea.
Why didn't you just get new clothes?
That's what I think as well.
I like those clothes.
But you look like a rich person. How many? Hold on. How many eyes are currently on him in this pub right now?
Make a
Considering
perception check.
Okay, that's going to be a 17.
I mean, there's certainly the people who you know to look for. Like, there's definitely some people that have eyed him, but I mean, no one's really that intent on him because right now he's just in like kind of like a nicer shirt and trousers. So he's not in like visibly ostentatious at the moment.
Gotcha. Friends, I know this place. Don't you lean away. I have secrets.
Brian's like, nope.
Listen,
I reluctantly lean in.
I know this place. Your friend here talks about changing clothes and all that. He is sticking out like sore thumb. I suggest we go a place where he won't stick out so much. Maybe we go to Journey's End. Huh?
I mean, he kind of sticks out wherever we go.
True, but in Journey's End, he is less likely to get stabbed.
Why are we more likely to get stabbed here? What is wrong with you?
Don't worry about why I say. Just let's go to Journey's End. Huh?
Okay.
Okay, friends.
Has just been sketching this whole time. Various blueprints. And various questions traced from the firearms book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you guys, you finish off your drinks and you head on over to the Journey's End across the city. It's probably getting to 9 or 10 p.m. now. And Edwin, are you still at the bar?
Yep.
Have you just kept drinking all day, or after a certain point, did you just kind of slump on the bar and stay there?
I am just drinking until I cannot drink anymore.
All right, well, say you got through probably 9 of these tankards before you got to a point where you're just kind of leaning against the half-empty one, trying to will yourself to keep drinking.
Okay.
I feel like they gave him the full adventure, just 20 shots, one after another.
While we're walking over, I want to ask Malcolm something else.
Yeah.
Not related to his name this time. I'm gonna tap him on the shoulder.
Yes, right.
You know that thing you do where you get very fuzzy?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I gotta stop laughing for Is that some sort of curse, or do you just do that? Do humans do that in general? Does that just happen?
Yes.
Of course, the backseat would say yes.
It's better when people are fuzzy. More
Says
trustworthy.
the fuzziest member of the
That is not important.
No. Generally speaking, humans do not do that. And while it can be most usually viewed as a curse, in my case, it is not. The curse of it would be if human was unwillingly turned into one. But I made a choice.
You made a choice to be fuzzy?
Yes.
He made a good choice. Correct choice.
Only when I want to be, though.
I kind of take that information and I just like store it somewhere in the back of my brain. Okay.
But not a curse for me.
Probably scribble somewhere in the margins of my book. Curses are put on unwilling people.
All right. So you guys, you make your way over, and you enter into Journey's End, where Edwin is just leaned heavily against the bar on yet another drink.
I can. Do I even need to roll a check to see how messed up he is?
Well, I mean, he's just like, he's not like falling out of the stool. He's just leaned up against the bar with a drink in his hand.
They've been taking away the cups, right? They haven't just left them.
Yes, he doesn't just have a mound of cups in front of him.
Well, I was thinking it was like a cup fort at this point.
No, this is probably 9 or 10.
How are you, Edwin?
Fine.
Insight
sure?
check. Insight check to see if he's fine.
He's fine. He go through some issues. Just leave him alone. You want to drink, let him drink, huh? Don't you bother him. You're not his mother. Just leave. Go get to bed. Sleep in bed. I make sure he's fine. Trust me. I'm Koska.
But Edwin is just pointing to say he's Koska now.
Goshka.
Still pretty good. I did that at disadvantage. That is. I'm just doing an insight for you. That's 18.
Oh,
I mean, you are not drunk enough, apparently, to forget that this is still Stefano.
I'm not saying anything at this point. I'm just so for the moment.
I'm gonna sit next to him. Is the bartender still there?
Yeah,
Oh, of course.
Yeah, no,
she is.
there's
It's 9, 10 to
still
9.
there's still a few people in here. A few merchants, a few just average townsfolk. Looks to be a little upper class, but everyone just kind of enjoying some casual conversation, food and drink.
I'm gonna wave her over and get him some water.
She brings you over a large glass of water. Make sure he drinks that.
Of course. Trust me. I'm friend. And I'm going to try to persuade Edwin to drink some water.
Do you resist the water?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say it was alcohol to try and get you to.
Push aside the last third of your tankard and take the glass of water from him.
It's good. You drink. I get you more. Tell me, ma'am. Have you heard of a Vanessa Renash? Rencash?
I don't think I would have.
No, I'm talking to the bartender.
No, I'm asking Nathan. Do you want me to roll for that? I don't think I would have heard of that. I don't care.
Roll a perception check at disadvantage.
Sure. That's still pretty good. Very high functioning drunk there.
I think your dice hate me.
I can't say I'm surprised that Edwin is a high functioning drunk.
I can't either, but I think it's more that his dice just hate Stefano. Like Edwin's hate for Stefano is transferred into the dice.
But you personally do not know the name, but you have heard it spoken in this bar today several times.
Why?
Just keep drinking water, friend.
While you're here, can I have a order of the whatever the house special is?
What
I'm
are
gonna
you
pull
looking for?
out some whiskey out of my pack and just put it in front of him.
Are you looking for some food? Because he seems to got you for drink.
Yeah, I haven't really eaten anything almost all day.
Well, we've got braised boar with cloven peach tonight.
Sounds perfect.
It's going to be 3 silver for a plate.
Yep, hand her the 3 silver.
All right, I'll get that right out for you. She comes back a couple minutes later with a plate of food for you.
So, ma'am, have you heard the name?
I've definitely heard it spoken. Can't say I've met the person.
Hmm. Could you point me in direction of someone who has?
Oh, it seems to be a name I've heard a lot among merchants, so you can talk to either of those two. And you see it's the same halfling and older elven gentlemen that were like debating math things earlier. They're still at the table. You see they're looks to be on some new drinks, but they're still there, still at work on whatever it is they're doing.
What are they drinking?
Let's see. It looks like he's got the elven gentleman there's drinking some of our wine, and the little halfling there just takes his mead.
I'll take I'll take their drinks and then a matching mead, please.
All right, it's gonna be 7 silver for the 3.
I'm gonna put 7 silver.
All right, there you are. By all means.
Fantastic. I'm gonna pick up the drinks and then sit at the table with them and give them more of their drink.
All right, as you sit down, you see they both kind of like look at you with a little bit of surprise. Just someone kind of just joining them. Just the halfling looks to you and just, well, hello. Nice to meet you, sir.
Hello. I hear you are people to go to if I need questions answered.
It depends on the question. And as you look, you see the elf kind of just like, sir, you are. I don't see your kind around here too much. I'm sorry. And he kind of like keeps a hand like right here as he's talking to you.
He's okay. He's okay. I get that a lot.
I don't mean any offense. I'm sorry.
Oh, don't worry. I'm not offended. So I'm looking for I work for a man who he was separated from his daughter when she was very young. And he's been trying to find her. He said her name is Vanessa. What was her last name? She goes by a different name now, but he said the one she goes by Vanessa Ranash.
They both kind of like exchange a glance. I mean, yeah, she's in the city. I think you might have some misinformation there, bud.
Really? He said that they had been separated for a very long time.
Well, either you're giving me wrong information or she did, so kind of more likely to go with hers.
Maybe the employer gave wrong information. I'm just supposed to deliver letters, to be honest.
Well, hey, I mean, if you're looking, she's supposed to meet us here tonight, a little later. We've got to talk over some trade agreements.
Is it okay if I sit away from your elf? I'm Koshka, by the way.
Koshka. It's a bit of a strange name there. Pleasure to meet you. My name's Vincent, and this here is Sarendir, and forgive him if he doesn't shake your hand.
No, it's okay. It's okay. How about I sit close to you, Vincent, and we just drink? I cover drinks for tonight. Duh?
I mean, I definitely won't say no to that. We'll probably bore you a little bit. We're just talking over some numbers.
Being bored is excuse for lack of imagination.
All right, well, suit yourself. We'll be here. She's supposed to arrive in the next, half hour.
Oh, perfect. I sit and wait.
What would everyone else like to do at the moment?
Tanith takes a few bites of his meal. It's very delicious, I assume.
It's quite good.
Yeah. It's like, I'm thankful that Koska gave me something to wash this down with, though. As I open the bottle and take a drink, and then immediately just start hacking and coughing.
I mean, it's strong whiskey.
He did not know that was whiskey. He thought it was more water. So he just took a big gulp of it and then immediately drops it and starts like coughing.
You see the innkeeper come over to you and just like, are you all right? Can I get you? She like bends down and like pulls like gets a glass of water. Just here, drink that. Like, oh my God, are you all right?
That wasn't water.
No, that's whiskey. It's a bottle of whiskey. Why would you think that's water? It's brown. Mate, you got to be a little more careful. You're gonna give somebody a heart attack. Just drink the water and stay away from that.
Thank you, ma'am. He just started drinking the water and swaying in his seat a little.
I would like to say that I legitimately forgot how strong that whiskey was when I just put it down on the table.
His first experience with whiskey ever.
Taste buds forever.
Yeah.
Well, would anyone else like to do anything over the next little bit? All right, well, then some time passes, and after a while, a few patrons leave, a couple more show up, and then as you're sitting there, Stefano, you see the elven gentleman kind of like looks up, and he's stands up and like starts walking, and you turn around. Shit, where's my notes? Sometimes I have like too many tabs open, and it totally ruins things for me.
I feel that.
TM life.
Especially when you have a computer in front of you, so you're just like, I can have everything.
So they're like, I have too much. Why did I open everything at once?
Dude, you're not kidding. I think I might have closed it, is why I can't find it.
My wife asks why I have multiple like copies of Safari open on my computer, and I'm like, because this is for weapons, vehicles.
It lets you alt-tab instead of like just searching through tabs. Like, it's great.
It's more efficient.
It is.
Slows down the computer though.
But yeah, so you turn around and you see immediately him shaking hands with an elven woman with darker red hair, tan skin, green eyes, about 5'8", and as he turns around and starts leading her back to the table, and she just kind of stops for a moment and looks at you. Well then, and sits down. And that's where we're picking up next week.
Damn it.
Boy.
Oh man.
Was she looking at Stefano when she said that?
Directly at Stefano.
Oh man.
Stefano's made a terrible mistake.
It now.
Well, you'll find out what kind of mistake Stefano made next week.
That was some evil shit. I hope Edwin never finds out about that.
Edwin would fucking kill Stefano.
What the hell, Morgan?
Listen, they said make it look like an accident. I will say that's the cruelest and most evil thing I've ever had a character do.
That was intense, man.
As a person who's played an evil character, I applaud you. However, as Edwin, I hope he never finds out. Because
I don't think anyone's gonna find out. I set down a pretty good cover for everything.
Better hope not.
Besides, they'll be looking for some cat named Barry. Barry's long dead.
You better hope that there's no like DNA fucking technology, because I don't think you can wipe away epithelial cells.
just better hope that Cyrea and Tannen never find out. This guy, oh, he just somehow killed himself in this bar around the same time he walked out of it. You know.
Yeah, that's true. You do have two people that could connect you to the crime.
Witnesses.
They do, but I don't think Tannen would sell me. Tannen seems ride or die. I don't think he'd sell me out. Soraya, I
just don't think he'd put 2 and 2 together. Soraya.
Well, but thank you everybody for watching. This is as fun as always. We'll be back next week to see who this person is that just recognized Stefano. And until next week, bye everybody.